Shout out to Wheezy and WTF Media Studios or something like that. The link is in the description. Bow. No Jumper, coolest podcast in the world. This is a fan.
One question before we start.
Oh, okay, here we go.
Well, no, because it'll be important.
Right.
No cursing or anything like that? Or
No, you could go crazy.
can be said? That's what I'm saying. I want to make sure.
Maybe not in the first 5 or 10 minutes would be great.
Okay.
But in the later hours of this podcast, if you want to drop some F-bombs, I'm all about it. We're going to edit that one out. But
Okay.
Necro is in the building.
What up? It's an honor to be here. Thank you, my friend.
I'm excited to have you here, man.
I'm the last dude that's ever done this.
Yeah?
And the new, kind of, right?
The last?
How many years you doing it?
Oh, I mean, 7 years or something?
So I'm the seventh. I like that actually, because 777.
I don't understand.
God.
How have you managed to avoid doing interviews so much over the years? Because like you seem like you're such a great guest.
Yeah,
I watched you on some random ass like Zoom interviews and stuff. You've been requested so many times over the years by me. I feel like you're like such an underground legend that so many people are curious about. I'm surprised you hadn't. I couldn't believe it when I typed Necro Vlad TV. No, but you were on it back in the day.
Well, I could tell you about Vlad if you want to know shit about Vlad.
Sure, let's start there.
You want to? Oh, God, Vlad hates me.
He does. Why?
Because I threatened to beat the shit out of him once.
Why'd you do that?
Because remember back in the day when Eminem dropped Forgot About Dre?
Yeah. Nowadays,
everybody want to talk that they got something to did. So that was around the time. Listen, I don't want Vlad Vlad's gonna get shitted on right now, but I don't want Vlad to think I started to shit on him. Organically, we're shitting on you right now.
Vlad is my boy.
Okay.
So Vlad,
listen, Vlad.
This is just for history.
Vlad,
historical purposes.
We're
going to
organically shitting on you right now because we're telling the truth.
Right.
Here's the thing:
I don't think Vlad will take it too serious.
he don't give a fuck.
No.
If the truth shits on you, it's the truth. You can't be mad at it.
Right.
So this was around the time he was doing those Biggie mix CDs.
Oh, so
nobody really knew him.
Yeah.
It was before Vlad TV.
Right.
He had just won the awards where the source was like he was doing bullshit remixes of other people's shit.
Right.
Nothing that I thought was original.
Okay.
And at the time, when I was talking with Vlad, I don't know how we became friends, but I thought he was trying to bond with me on some Jewish shit, because he's Russian, I'm Jewish, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, all right, whatever. Like, I'll be cool with you. You know what I mean? And so I noticed at the time he was really on my brother's dick. Like, you know when you talk to somebody and they're constantly mentioning another man,
okay,
instead of focusing on your business. So that started annoying me first. I'm like, yo,
I'm pushing to get through to your brother.
Maybe. Okay. Like, I really like nonfiction. I'm like, yo, but B, I'm talking to you right now. Let's talk about Necro shit. What can we do to help the Necro brand?
Right.
So anyway, Forgot About Dre comes out. Everybody's doing mix CDs now. 50 Cent is dropping them. Yeah. This is 2003, MySpace time.
Oh.
So I rap over Murder Your Life. I do a song called Murder Your Life over the beat. Stab in your face with a butcher knife that's really long and make you feel the song when I beat you down to it. Don't care if I appear wrong, kid, I'll do it. I represent the death rap. I'm rapping brutal.
Right.
More brutal than Eminem. I get 1 million fucking plays on MySpace for this mix CD track.
Right.
I try to get Vlad, I send it to Vlad. Vlad's like, nah, not feeling it. Eminem did it better. I'm like, you motherfucker. Remember, back then at this time, if you dissed me, I was going to punch you in your face when I see you in person.
Okay.
Because this is that time. I'm coming up. I'm only, you know what I mean? I dropped I Need Drugs in 2000.
Right.
I'm insulted now because this shit is popping. So I'm like, you got to be hating.
Right.
And you're on M's dick. Because you're saying my shit ain't as good as M's, but all my fan base is like, you bodied them on his own shit.
Right.
You got to hear it. People that know the track Murder Your Life, ask these guys, Murder Your Life, did I not destroy it? As good as Eminem on... I can perform it live now and the fans will pit brutally. So anyway, I'm like, yo, Vlad, I'm going to fuck you up when I see you. Vlad's like, I don't even remember if I even convoed with him after that. So now remember, this is way before Vlad TV. Right. So he's never putting me on Vlad TV. So the only time I ever got on Vlad TV was when... Shut your phone off, fuckers. Is when I did a whole album with Kool G Rap. Are you familiar that I did a whole album with G Rap?
Right, yeah.
Okay, called The Godfathers.
Right.
And we were kind of talking about Lord Jamar.
Right.
And Vlad leaves my name off the fucking title and just writes Kool G Rap while I'm sitting there with G Rap.
Wow.
And we're kind of crapping on Macklemore because at that time Macklemore was pushing the whole gay agenda.
Right.
And remember, G Rap is the legend for throwing F-bombs.
Right, okay.
Like, if you go back to Stretch and Bobbito days, G-Rap put out songs, Break a Bitch Neck.
Right.
Hey, Mister, keep walking past while I'm beating on my bitch's ass. Like, he was promoting fucking women up.
Right.
No disrespect to G.
Right.
That's what influenced
It's a different time, right?
Bro, that's what influenced dudes that rap hardcore.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? The Ghetto Boys, G-Rap,
Right.
NWA. You know, it was like those three were the culmination of a Necro rapping brutal. Because it's a little different. Those guys had major label deals. I ended up being called a misogynist by every female in the business.
Right.
You know?
Yeah, see, that's the kind of crazy thing is that when you talk about that time period and when you think about the rise of Eminem, that you were very much poised to have a run just off of the sort of like peripheral attention that he was getting, that even if like that you were going to get a lot of attention just from the attention he was getting. But we were just having this conversation is that when Eminem came in, he sort of filled the technical rap white boy category almost in its entirety, almost to this day.
And I can talk about that.
Let's hear it.
My lawyer was the same lawyer that hooked up the deal for Eminem.
Really?
Yeah. Cutler and Seidelmeyer.
Okay.
Paul Rosenberg had an office in their office. They let him come in to help with deals. Paul Rosenberg is a lawyer as well as a manager. So he was working out of Cutler and Seidelmeyer. Cutler and Seidelmeyer would do all my deals with like Fat Beats when I would do a single deal or with Land Speed. Because at that time when M dropped, everyone in the underground was doing 12-inch deals with Fat Beats. So you would do a 12-inch deal and you would have an A and B side. It would be 2 tracks. And you would get like maybe $5,000.
Okay.
Now that was a lot back then.
Right.
Because, and then now in Fat Beats, you go and you do a Fat Beats in-store. Excuse me, Fat Beats has a publicist working. Like I became famous overnight fucking with Fat Beats. Fat Beats was the mecca of New York City.
Right.
Everybody would go there. That was on right above Papaya on West 8th. And what was the street hide of Fat Beats? 6th Avenue and 8th. And so basically, I was trying to get a deal, you know? And I kept getting told by Cutler and Seidelmeyer, nobody wants to sign white boys. So I'm like, fuck. So now I'm starting to study Master P at the time because I'm like, no, nobody's going to sign me. I'm keep getting shitted on.
Yo, we gotta have quiet.
Yeah, guys,
sorry,
you can't talk.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like silence.
Sorry, they're just going to hear it in the background. Okay, so no white boys at the time.
At the time, I'm being told nobody wants to sign white boys
Because there was like
Cutler and Seidelmeyer.
there was like 10 years of no white boys being signed before Eminem, right? There was like a massive gap before him prior to that. Because Vanilla Ice kind of poisoned the waters, right?
Yes, it got to a point where Vanilla Ice would be when I'm in school, you know, because I grew up in a black hood in the projects, Glenwood Projects. Then I went to South Shore High School across the street from the projects next to Canarsie. So the first thing somebody black would say to you would be, oh, Vanilla Ice?
Yeah.
And then I would get furious and be like, nah, fuck you. What do you mean, Vanilla Ice? Don't disrespect me like that.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like that was crazy.
You're,
like not because I'm listening to fucking Rakim. I'm listening to KRS. I'm listening to Boogie Down Productions. I'm listening to fucking Kool G Rap, Tribe Called Quest, Video Music Box. You familiar with Video Music Box?
Yes, I do remember that.
Okay.
But I want to shoot Vanilla Ice some bail that in retrospect, I've kind of seen this narrative. And people say that Vanilla Ice was actually a really poppin' rapper in Texas, had respect from the community, but then once the label got their hands on him and once they got their hands on Ice Ice Baby, that they blew him out of the fucking water.
Oh, I agree.
But also, he ended up looking pretty fucking corny as a result, and it basically...
Well, it's because of fucking Arsenio.
Right, yes.
Arsenio is a fucking hater.
There's some YouTube videos about Vanilla Ice that will explain the whole fucking thing that breaks it down. Yeah.
Here's the reality. Vanilla Ice could fucking dance.
Yes.
The dude was ill. Blacks in the hood
they liked
fucked
him,
with Yeah, because... if you can dance that dope, then and you got a flat top. If first of all, if you're a fucking white boy with a flat top, that's difficult.
Yeah.
Okay. Do you know what you got to do?
Right.
You got to use mad gel.
He believed in himself.
Right.
Mad gel.
You got to use a lot of gel. And here's the because I grew up in the project.
Right.
So there was white boys in Glenwood projects that repped the part.
Right.
Like it wasn't wigger shit.
You ain't seen white boys like that.
Listen, in my projects in
Right.
Brooklyn, we're in Brooklyn, New York.
Right.
Okay, it's a different fucking energy.
Yeah.
You're not a wigger if you're really down.
Right.
Like nobody black is going, you're a wigger. They're hanging with you if you're rocking fucking polo with fucking, a P-Wing fucking shirt. You're wearing $200 shirts.
Yeah.
Nobody's calling you a wigger. Wigger was the Midwest corny white kids that were wearing starter jackets, not the Brooklyn white kids.
If you wanted to kick it with the white kids, you would have chosen a different dress code. Your dress code was meant to communicate what subculture you wanted to be a part of.
The white kids in Brooklyn shit on me for living in the projects. The kids in Mill Basin looked at me as a dirtbag. Oh, you're taking the fucking bus back home and you get off at the projects? Sad to say, racist. You live with the N? Like, yo, this is where I didn't even, when you live there, you don't think like that.
You were a white rapper in New York City at a time when it was actually challenging to be a white rapper in New York City.
Yeah. I was a white boy in Brooklyn before even a rapper in the projects.
Right.
You understand? Before we even knew how to rap, I had to deal with the fact that I'm getting jumped by 16 black kids that want to fucking tear my head off.
At a time when New York was a lot more dangerous than we know it to be these days.
Well, less people were inside.
Yeah.
Remember, now everybody's inside. You got, like a 6ix9ine or whatever, constantly protected. I'm just using it as an example of that. Like, he represents the person that could snitch and rat and get away with it and still cool. And you didn't have that. You had to be outside.
Yeah.
If you were that kind of person back then, you would get a fucking beating. And by the people.
You knew way more people who were just making music on a local level, locally hanging out, than you did who were having record deals. And like now our idea of
I wanted to.
Right.
For example.
You believed in it, but you were around people who were just making music for the sake of making music. That's what a rapper was. Yeah.
Check this out. There's a video on YouTube right now of me rapping on stage. It's crazy. In 1992. With my brother, dropping N-bombs constantly on a whole black crowd that's loving us. The show was put together by the dudes from Black Moon.
Wow.
This is before Wu-Tang dropped, before Nas dropped. It's on YouTube right now. We're crushing it. I look like a Puerto Rican the way I'm dressed. I'm wearing the glasses that change colors.
You don't think they perceived you as being a white guy?
They knew we were white boys. Okay. Maybe they thought we were Latino, but back then it was like I'll give you an example. Fatal, shout out to Fatal. He did these shows where girls would come naked and shit. Dr. Dre was there. Not Dr. Dre from Cali, Dr. Dre from MTV.
Right, yeah.
Akademiks, Kool G Rap, all these rappers, and King Son, Adolf the Assassin. All these people were at these parties. And I would go up on stage, young 15-year-old Necro, and N-word was always in my shit because I had this warped mentality. I'm gonna as a man, I could look back at. I felt like if you could say it, I could say it. And if I say it and you tell me I can't say it, you got to fight me. If you can't fuck me up like one-on-one, you can't tell me I can't use a word that every rapper uses.
Right.
Because now you're making it out that I'm white. You're forcing it to say you're different.
Yeah.
And when you rhyme, this is probably for any rapper. If you're a real hip-hop artist, you don't look at your skin color when you're rhyming and writing shit. It's in your brain. You're thinking beats and rhymes.
Right.
Beats and rhymes are colorless.
Yeah.
This is why if you look at the jazz dudes in the 70s, every jazz group is a black and white guy together, rocking.
Really?
The drummer could be fucking a black dude. Lenny White, Steve Gadd, Ron Carter on the bass, Bob James, because it was about the fucking music.
There's a certain thing about white people in New York, right? Because I remember when I moved to New York in 2004 that every fucking white kid I met said the N-word. And I remember just being like,
Indians,
where
say
am
the
I?
N-word.
Yeah. Oh, Asian people, everybody. Yeah. I think it's different now though because everybody's so much more connected with the internet.
It changed now. Yeah. You know when I started noticing shit was weird? Here's why I was using it, right? I was using it because every black kid would come up to me and be like, what up, N?
Right.
What up, my N? When you get called it so much by black people, and then every huge group that pushes their shit on white audiences like NWA, now you're expecting that kid to know better?
Right.
I didn't know better.
Yeah.
Like I didn't, and here's the thing, every Puerto Rican saying it.
Right.
They look like me. My skin, Fat Joe has the same skin color as mine. We're both pale. You know what I'm saying? Not every Puerto Rican or Dominican is dark skinned.
Right.
So you're hearing Latinos say it. I'm in the projects. My neighbors, one is black, one is, you're hearing it nonstop. When you eventually, everything's about where you're from sometimes. If you're from a certain area, you're going to be brainwashed to that.
Yeah.
Especially when you're young.
I see it all the time.
But here's the thing. As things started getting more internet-y.
Yeah. The rules became much more
people
established.
from different blacks from out of New York didn't like the fact that I was using the N-word.
Yeah.
And I never experienced that because I'm only dealing with the people I'm dealing with in Brooklyn usually.
But when did you start to catch that vibe or sort of get that was the sentiment?
One time, AllHipHop did an interview with me.
Right.
And
early internet age.
Yeah, AllHipHop did an interview with me, and the dude gets on the phone, and it's a black cat, and he's like, yo, what up, my nigga? And I'm like, what up, my nigga? And I did the whole interview with him, and I didn't overly say the N-word in the interview at all.
But he made a big deal of you saying
I'll tell you what happened. So he didn't record it.
Right.
I was like, you recording this interview? He's like, nah, I'm writing shit down. I already knew that suspect because you can't get the full interview transcription. So I maybe said it 10 times like he said it. Like if yo, niggas fuck with my shit.
Right.
You know, about it, like talking like I'm talking. The way he made it seem was like he's hood. He understood. He didn't try to check me. Like, yo, what'd you say? He's vibing with me.
These journalists, man, they'll
So
always do that. They'll always act like they're your best friend, and then they communicate it to the public as if they feel however
they had me saying it 50 times in the AllHipHop thing. I read it online. I'm like, this ain't me. I didn't fuck. They had it saying it like as if you would be mad if you were black. Like this motherfucker.
This is just.
How did I say it that many fucking times?
Right.
So I call up the dude. This is all keeping it 100.
Right.
Not lying to you.
I believe you're keeping it 100, yeah.
If I'm correct, his name is Chuck Creekmore.
Okay.
He's the one who runs AllHipHop. I called him up. I'm like, yo, G, are you fucking serious? Meet me right now. I want to meet you in person right now and discuss this shit. I was going to crack him on site. Like, yo, that was crazy to me. You're trying to sabotage my fucking reputation?
Right.
See, here's a problem with me that I've burnt a lot of bridges just being Necro,
right?
Because of certain things that I do artistically, and because I might be one of the only white boys that thought he could say the N-word, but I'm saying it no different than anybody who says it in hip hop says it. Never racist, but I didn't realize for some reason my brother stopped way earlier than me. And I thought he was being too politically correct. Because here's the thing. When you listen to all the great Doug rappers, they always use the N-word. There's some dudes that they make the whole rap revolve around, like, I'll clap you, N. I'll slap you, N. So in my mind, I'm like, if you tell me that I can't use it in the context that G Rap uses it, you're stifling my hip-hop poetry here. And I know I'm from the hood, and I know I'm down to bang out. So that was my logic.
Yeah.
As I got older, I'll give you an example. When I did the album with G Rap, I asked G Rap, do you mind if I use the N-word on this album? Kool G Rap goes, no, I got no problem with it. I was like, really? You have no issue if I use the N-word on this? He goes, because I know where you're from. I know what you're about.
What year are we talking?
2013. G Rap goes, I know where you're from. I know what you're about. He goes, so I don't take it the wrong way. I said, but you know what? I'm not going to use it on the Godfather's album because I don't want to give anyone an excuse to say they didn't like this album.
Right.
I don't want to hear, oh, white boy used the N-word. So I didn't use it. I have not used it since.
Right.
So it's way over 10 years. I don't use the N-word. But, at the time, it was about the art.
Right.
Because think about it. Here's a fucked up thing. If you're a white rapper and the predominantly doper fucking dudes are all black, you want to fit in. You want to be treated equally. You don't want every time you walk in the room, your color gets brought up.
Right.
That's almost similar to blacks maybe in the jazz world in the 50s. Everywhere they went, their color got brought up.
But don't you think that Eminem, that's part of why he was so successful, is that he just acknowledged it, he talked about it.
M was co-signed immediately by Dre.
And that's a massive factor.
When you have the biggest, dopest, richest, respected guy from the Chronic.
But he never ran from being white or talking about his whiteness or
because you know what my lawyer said to me?
What?
Hey, I'm in doing a single deal in his office. Cutler, Theo Seidelmeyer.
Yeah.
We're about to blow up this white kid from Detroit. He's going to be the biggest poster child for MTV. I'm sitting there. I'm not going to lie. I'm jealous. I'm mad. I'm like, why is my lawyer telling me this? Why he doesn't want me to be that?
Right.
Like, you're telling me you're about to blow up another dude to be the biggest thing on the planet. And like, I've been telling you for 3-4 years now I want to get a deal.
Yeah.
It was planned. They planned to monopolize white market. Even if M did his lyrics a certain way, the business people around him, it was all made in a way. If you look at everything, how it was done on the videos, he's acting out Tom Green, right when Tom Green's blowing up on MTV. He's mentioning Britney Spears. I mean, listen, what they did was genius.
Right.
When you have listen, Eminem and that camp, until Spotify really started blowing up and digital opened up gatekeepers, they had a full monopoly on being white. Every other white rapper pretty much was always, you could talk to anyone black and immediately the first thing they'll say, yeah, but are you as good as Eminem?
But isn't it crazy to look back on that and realize that Eminem basically, they had to like turn him into a cartoon of his former self in order to make him palatable enough to that audience, even with the blonde hair, bro. Like, if you wanted to look like a normal guy, you wouldn't have gone that. But that is the thing that made him so recognizable that it became, you know, like synonymous with his existence.
Well, his image helped. Skinny guy, the blonde hair. I mean, it was, you know. Hey, I wonder. We don't know, right? If that was marketed and somebody told him to do it, or he just woke up and said, "I'm going to do it."
But the thing is with Eminem is that I've heard this from people. I forget if it was Paul Rosenberg or whoever, but they say that he got put in the position to make a lot of fucking money and to be the biggest artist in the world. He got into the position, he did it, and he never really stopped doing it. Like, he just kept going. He never self-destructed. He never fucking blew his career up.
He had a lot of phases of being on drugs and certain things like that.
But he always stayed pretty consistent with the music. He always just got the shit done, managed to make hit records however many years. You know, he really...
He probably has the white hunger of not feeling... He wakes up feeling with this is the thing about Eminem.
He still wakes up and gets in his notebook and just starts writing fucking lyrics. This is the thing
about Eminem. Let me tell you something about a guy like Eminem. If you're a rapper and you have every fucking award on the planet and you're still taking pills, that means you don't feel recognized. I don't feel recognized as we sit here right now.
Right.
And I got 580,000 monthly listeners on Spotify right now. Wow. Did you know that?
I didn't know it was that high.
Yeah, okay. And that's independently. Never on a major.
That's what I get for using Apple Music, because they don't have a fucking counter like that, do they?
No, Apple Music doesn't. But when it comes to digital, not YouTube and Instagram, you can't fake digital.
Yeah.
Because they'll dead your fucking platform. You understand? You don't want to be the guy who your name is John C, and they decide John C's deaded from Spotify.
Right.
You fucked your career.
Oh, yeah.
Because you're not going to reach 100 countries now.
We've seen it happen to a lot of people, yeah.
But YouTube's different. YouTube will dead videos with their policies and all that. Spotify doesn't specifically say, oh, you rapped about fucking a bitch, we're taking it off.
Right.
So
you ran into that problem on YouTube? You have songs?
Oh, I'm shadow banned. I have 350,000 monthly listeners right now. No, 250,000 monthly listeners on YouTube, and they shadow ban everything I upload.
Really?
Yeah, because I've uploaded some crazy shit, brother.
Oh, I believe it.
I mean, I'm the only rapper that's ever rapped about human trafficking.
Well, like endorsing it?
No, but is the movie Taken endorsing human trafficking?
Oh, no.
It's not.
Okay.
It's showcasing... Listen, how many movies showcase crimes? We could always, is 50 Cent's new show, Raising Cain, promoting drugs?
But when you have...
No, it's showcasing
when the biggest video on your channel literally has a drug addict shooting heroin into his arm.
That's not my biggest video, but here's the problem when I need drugs.
But that's probably why it's not the biggest video, right? Is because of the fact...
Check this out.
That it got age restricted or whatever at a certain point?
Yeah, it has.
Right.
But check this out. I Need Drugs as a song and video came out before YouTube existed.
Yeah.
Because YouTube dropped in 2005. I dropped I Need Drugs in 2000.
Yeah.
So I got major burn on MySpace and all these other places. By the time it gets on YouTube, it reaches 1 million fucking views immediately in 2005. Gets taken fucking down for being too brutal immediately. I lose the 1 million. Gets re-uploaded 10 times. Every time, this is before they're doing age restricted. I had to re-upload it again for it to be at 5 million where it is now. Could you imagine if it never was taken down? I'd have 100 million fucking views.
You shot that video for what? Because was it ever supposed to go on TV?
Crack house.
Yeah, but was it ever supposed to go on MTV or some shit? No,
well, that video couldn't be on MTV.
Yeah, but where was it supposed to go that long before YouTube?
I was selling it on VHS tapes. There was a point where literally I'm one of the first dudes.
Right.
I'm the first, technically, rapper that released a movie before Streets is Watching and before Master P Bad About It.
What was the movie called?
I went to Brooklyn College. I took film. I shot on Super 8 and 16 millimeter 2 silent movies put them on VHS and PAL. Fat Beats was distributing this. I was getting paper off my college movies through Fat Beats. They were getting press in every fucking magazine around Europe. And I was making money. I would make like 2 G's a month off my college movies.
Right.
And they made it in Source and magazines, getting little reviews and whatever. It was silent movies, 70s flicks. I shot some 70s flicks because all they would let me in Brooklyn College do is silent first before I learned sound. And it was such a hassle dealing. I edited these movies with the reels, with my hands holding the shit. Like
really?
Bro, before digital.
Wow.
We're talking 96. Master P dropped Bout It like that year. Streets is Watching was 97. No rapper had dropped a fucking movie yet.
Right.
An actual MC, his own flick. So what were we talking about with that? We mentioned that.
The video for I Need Drugs.
So I was putting these things on those VHS. So like I met Mr. Hyde at the are you familiar with the New Eurekans Poet Cafe?
No.
Okay, New Eurekans Poet Cafe is a legendary hip hop spot in Lower East Side Manhattan where all MCs would go to battle. I challenged Craig G to a battle at New Eurekan Poets Cafe.
Right.
Familiar with Craig G from Juice Crew?
No.
He's legendary. Shout out to Craig G. I'm not going to mention the battle to try to diss him or anything because we worked it out.
Right.
But at that time, we're talking 97, New Eurekan was legendary.
Right.
So like Doom was outside the night I went to go fucking battle Craig G. It was like that kind of environment. Anyone could have been there.
Right.
And I met Mr. Hyde at New Eurekan's Cafe, and I think he bought. Did you buy one of the movies? So it was a different culture back then.
Right.
Kind of California had their own kind of culture. I think it was called Project Blowed around the time. You ever heard of those guys? I'm not 100% familiar, but it was like California. Remember, this is way before the internet.
Underground rap had a very different character at that time. Yeah.
So there was like Cali versions, and then you had New York. And then I think, when you came, I don't know if places like Texas had that, but because they had already Rap-A-Lot.
You ever get rejected by Rawkus? You ever try to sign a Rawkus?
Yes, Rawkus rejected me.
I just guessed it. I just could imagine that.
I wanted to get signed to Rawkus, and Rawkus rejected me.
Damn, they fucked up, bro. Because when I listened,
I brought I Need Drugs to Rawkus.
I'm
trying to get
real with you, and I know that like
that made me hate them.
Time changes how you view music and everything. But when I listen to your shit from the 90s, I'm like, this is better than a lot of the shit that I was listening to in the 90s.
Like what? Well, you listen. Appreciate that. Thank you.
I mean, I honestly
were you up on me back then?
Like a little bit, because I remember around that time that people were passing around Rawkus CDs and stuff. That's what made me think of it, is that I remember, because you know what it is this is very early era, like wares scene online, downloading music and software and shit. And I Need Drugs was the kind of song that would be on fucking Napster and all these services. And I feel like it's one of the first rap songs that I found out about online specifically. I Need Drugs was definitely very popular. It was one of them tracks that, like, even if people didn't know who Necro was, they were rocking that at parties. Yes. People, it's a crazy track, man. It was because of what it is. But you weren't on drugs at the time. No, I had dealt drugs. Okay, I've been a drug dealer before. But you never wanted to do it. I never became a drug addict. My uncle Howie was a junkie. Okay. He was the junkie of the projects. Right. Like literally, he would be the dude that all the drug dealers knew Uncle Howie. Right. Howie was fucked up. Okay. But he was legendary in Brooklyn and New York. And I made him legendary with I Need Drugs because he's the one shooting up in it. That's him. With his religious friend Mordecai. I thought it was just a random guy. What the fuck? No, that was Uncle Howie, because Uncle Howie hears the song I Need Drugs when I just made it. Wow. He's like, fuck that bullshit. He says to the song, I play him the song. Excuse me. His response is, fuck that bullshit. Right. Come film me. I'll show you the real drug shit. Like, you know what I mean? So I'm like, what do you mean? He goes, I'm in the crack hotel right around the corner on Coney Island over here. He goes, we'll go meet my boy Mordecai. I'm with Mr. Hyde at the time. I'm like, we got to shoot a fucking I Need Drugs video. Wow. Hyde's like, okay. It was stunk like rotten McDonald's in their room. It was a crack hotel. It, dude. Oh, it was brutal. Ugh. And shout out to Mr. Hyde. I got to give Mr. Hyde props. Mr. Hyde shot me doing it. Oh. So you can imagine how long I've been friends with Mr. Hyde. That's my best friend for 20 years. Were you at all thinking like, oh, everybody's going to think I'm a drug addict? No. It's kind of weird. I was thinking, when you're not. My stepbrother, he was like, yo, bro, you're not going to release this, right? Exploitation.
I was like, why
You're
not?
exploiting drug culture. Yes. If you weren't from such a fucked up environment, that's what everybody would have ran with.
I was a weed head.
Right.
This is what I was. I was a weed head. I quit weed before that because I couldn't focus.
Okay.
So I'm a weed veteran. I got a good 13 years under my belt of being a weed veteran.
I'm still in the game.
Okay, but I believe I'm a weed veteran. You know how people say if you stop, like they'll front on you?
Yeah.
You don't, no.
I've been smoking weed every day for about 13 years, 12 years.
But check this out. Tell me if you agree.
Yeah.
If you go to Vietnam, you're a veteran, right? Even if you're not there anymore.
Yeah.
If I smoked for 13 years, I don't deserve weed veteran status?
No, I respect you.
I understand.
You killed some brain cells.
Yeah, exactly. I killed brain cells, brother. You know what I'm saying? So I was a drug dealer.
Right.
Okay. I was one of the bigger weed dealers in Canarsie because I became a big drug dealer because I did two cool things. I would deliver it to you anytime. Other people wouldn't
deliver. You saw the future. Now that shit's commonplace.
Yeah. But we're talking me doing this shit fucking before even probably I was even Necro.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? 15, 16. I had pounds in my fucking house. You know what I'm saying? And I would break down, I would get the shittiest weed so I could make the fattest nickels because hood people meaning hood kids, the kids in the hood, whatever color they are.
It's still that way.
The fattest nickel means more to them. And I ended up graduating to joints with skunk and hydroponic.
For the record, though,
because I was killing my lungs.
I always talk to like weed shop owners who will be like, yeah, you know, little baby's talking about how he's smoking the finest weed, whatever. When people come in, 85% of them want the cheapest weed that they got on the shelf.
Because they want to get quantity instead of quality. I used to smoke quality. It would fucking destroy me, bro. I'm talking bro, I mentioned chocolate Thai to people now. They're like, they don't even know what that is.
Yeah, that was the thing.
Like chocolate Thai? First of all, just to get that in Brooklyn, it was crazy.
There's a whole era of rap songs where that's like the default weed drug they were talking about was chocolate. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, I just remember
kind of like when they mentioned Purple Haze.
Yeah, exactly. Like Jim Jones, Cam. I remember them talking about smoking chocolate all the time. Papoose, he definitely had some chocolate bars.
It was fucking ill. Don't mind me, I'm sweating a little.
No, for
Fat
sure.
motherfuckers sweat. You
like
skinny guys get to.
We're talking fast enough. I'm a skinny guy. Wow, I got it.
Well, I've been getting in shape, but I'm saying, I'm not as bad as I could be.
Right.
But I don't front I'm a boxer.
Right.
I'm not like professional.
Yeah.
I'm a boxer.
You fuck somebody up.
Yeah, I could definitely. I'm known to knock people the fuck out.
I like
on tour.
I need that energy in the room.
Yeah, I mean, never to anyone that's cool. We don't start shit.
Right.
We finish shit. When we were on tour, I got banned from Europe for 3 years.
What was that
26
for?
countries. Because at my Switzerland show, what happens is, I'm a hip hop guy that insists that the crowd moshes because I'm a metalhead. I grew up as a metalhead.
That's one thing I feel like I really connect with you on.
Okay.
Because I grew up with a lot of metal in my life as well. Yeah, and I feel like that's.
What was your favorite band?
Well, I feel like you're like Cannibal Corpse as a rapper.
People have said shit like that.
Yeah.
No, people have said shit like that, death metal, in that realm.
It's just you wouldn't rap the way that you rap. Like I feel like you have to understand rap or metal to sort of end up rapping the way that you do because aesthetically.
Metal influence.
Yeah, I'm just like, because you're saying so many wild ass things that like are clearly not descriptions of your everyday reality. It's more like aesthetically, I'm attracted enough to the idea of dismembering a woman or whatever. It's not like
But you know what's crazy about it?
It's not a plan to do that,
Well, even Fat Joe
Or
said.
sometimes
Fat Joe said I killed 100 people in my rhymes.
Right.
But if I really killed 100 people, he wouldn't be rocking fucking Rolling Loud this weekend.
And that's what I plan on telling my kid when she's like, how are you listening to this dude rapping about killing people? I'm gonna say, you know how we watch the movie and there's a villain in the movie? Well, that guy didn't really kill someone. He's just acting like the villain for the sake of the art.
Well, yeah.
And that's why it's okay for Pooh Shiesty to do it, even though he's actually killing
kids. You'll have to explain. You'll have to explain them. But there's like a line of mine.
Yeah.
It's from a track. Every second someone dies, someone just died, another one's dead, and again someone just died, etc.
Right.
Every second someone dies. So if I rap brutality, believe somebody in Brazil is getting their fucking feet chopped off and getting their fucking little chocolatas put in their mouth.
Right.
Some other guy's getting his dick chopped off in Bolivia.
Yeah.
Right now. It's happening.
But is that
it's real.
That inspires your bars? You go on some of these sites?
Well, let me explain. Let me explain. When I was Mobb Deep dropped the Infamous and they were rapping thug shit, I was doing thug shit. Told you I was selling weed. I'm in the street. I'm walking around with machetes. My crew, we got guns. This is, 92, even before the Infamous dropped.
Yeah.
We're in Brooklyn. When you're in Brooklyn, you get into beef just standing on the corner.
Right.
Some guy, what are you looking at? Fuck you looking at? On the train, we get into beef. If you're looking at, you be on the train, I would look at your sneakers, you'd be like, fuck you looking at? And I'm not gonna, I'm looking at your sneakers. No, we got beef now.
Right, yeah.
You understand what I'm saying? Like, it's like, that was back then. It was the aura. It wouldn't happen that way now, because these new kids aren't like the older Puerto Rican kids that maybe I got into beef with when I'm on the L, and I'm going through Lorimore, and this dude walks on, and we're grilling each other.
Right.
Like, funny thing is, maybe now we would give props to the outfits.
Right.
That shit's fly, son. Oh, that shit. But back then, maybe he thinks I'm going to try to rob him.
Right.
You know what I mean? It was that kind of energy.
Now people figure out who they're going to beef with on the internet.
And I don't. And that's why I don't get into problems.
Yeah.
So let's get back to the beef I was telling you that got me banned from Europe.
Right, yeah.
So sometimes we go to different countries and the country is whack. The crowd is not into moshing.
Right.
If I play London, usually they get a pit. I tell the crowd, let's pit. They get busy. Switzerland, this was in Switzerland and it happened, they were being pussies. So I got a dude down with my crew. Shout out Drew Wayne. You know, let's shout out some of my crew. We got Tone in the house from Harlem. We got Mr. Hyde, from Queens, representative. We got Lefty in the house, our gun, guy. And basically, Drew was from Manchester, England. Okay. And if you know Manchester are nut jobs.
Yes.
And we put him down with the crew. I just point at the person, and Drew will light them the fuck up.
Okay.
He don't care.
Right.
There's no discussion. You know what I mean? It's because he understands. There's a science to the way we get busy on tour and in certain places because we're not having it, and it's our reputation. You're not playing me when I'm in your city.
Okay.
I don't give a fuck who you are. You see a lot of these new kids in this new world, they get played in other cities. That's because they're not down with the gangsters in other cities. Necro's always down with the gangsters in every city.
Really?
Yeah, because gangsters recognize gangsters. No gangster's looking at Necro thinking he's going to fucking play me when I come to his city.
Right.
He already knows, oh, that's Necro. Most likely the gangster rocks my shit already.
Yeah.
Has been listening to me since fucking Head Split dropped.
Right.
If anything, they're saluting me. Like, for me to come hang.
Right.
Like, yo, when you come here, I'll take you out. I don't do it, you know what I mean? 'Cause I got business to handle.
Right.
I don't know who the fuck some of these people are. You know what I'm saying? But listen, different caliber. When you're a fucking pussy, dudes look at you as food.
Right.
When you're a real dude, dudes won't bother with you.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying? Like a mob extortion guy doesn't go to a rugged guy.
Right.
He's going to look for because the rugged guy is going to fight.
Right.
Bottom line, the guy's going to be fuck you.
So who came up to you in England?
So what happened was Drew was in the pit.
Right.
And the opening act thought they were gangster. And I noticed they were giving me the eye when I was on stage in a way I didn't like, and a bad energy. I noticed. I have spider sense in drama. Not everybody has it.
Right.
I have a spider sense. I know who wants beef with me.
Okay.
If I'm in a room and there's 20 people, I know that we're going to have a problem. I can tell. Because I'll see this dude in the corner over there, and I'll see the way he's looking at me.
Right.
And I'll peep the energy, and it's going to get addressed. Because if you don't address it, you end up a victim.
Yeah.
People that avoid confrontation end up being the victim of a confrontation. Unless you have security, of course, and then they deal with it.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But, I've never had security.
But even then, your security is basically just like you paying somebody to replace your ability to defend yourself normally.
I think a lot of these dudes are cowards that we see in the rap game now.
Right. But
not the gang dudes, but the other guys that want to be part of that.
Right.
If you're a gang guy, you're a gang guy. That's your lifestyle.
I mean, listen, if you're a lot of these like poppin' rappers, though, if you go to the mall and you don't have a security guard, the whole time you're there, you're gonna be looking over your shoulder and stressing out, thinking about what could happen to you, yada yada.
Depending on who you are.
Yeah.
First of all, it depends how famous you are.
Yeah.
It also depends on how you rap. First of all, have you ever backed up anything you rapped?
Yeah.
Excuse me, in any way. If the people listen, if wolves never seen you be a wolf before,
right, then
you're not a wolf to them. You're a fucking sheep to them.
The other day, this girl from Texas, who's like an up-and-coming rapper or whatever, she got killed in
Rest in peace.
Some sort of drive-by shooting, whatever.
A lot of rappers getting killed.
But then it comes out that she had done like songs, basically like dissing gang members who had been killed in her city or whatever, talking about smoking on so-and-so. Completely changed. At first, I'm like, this is a tragedy. When
and you know what a New York rapper would do? He would salute.
Go kick the candles. That's what they be doing.
No,
they go to the memorial, kick the candles over, and put it on their Instagram story.
No, a New York rapper would salute the dead, even if the dead was his enemy.
Word to my dead. That's what they say.
Now I'm going to keep it 100 with you. I'm going to keep it 100 with you.
All those Bronx rappers, they be shitting on each other's dead homies all day.
maybe they're
your era.
Yeah,
for sure.
maybe they're new kids. I can't speak on people I don't know about. We're just going to talk about my era and where I come from.
I think the manly thing,
the rappers from my
someone
era
dies, you don't mention them.
Yeah,
that's where I'm coming from.
We don't diss the dead.
Yeah, I don't do that.
You have to understand though, if you're taught, if you're not taught respect,
right.
Okay, a lot of people don't respect the elders. I respect it. Anytime anybody asks me to pay homage or whatever, no, excuse me. I've never been asked to pay homage. Anytime anybody asks me about my influences, I pay homage.
Right.
A lot of these new people don't like to pay homage because maybe they weren't taught. Why weren't they taught? I don't know. I don't have a kid right now. If I had a kid, my kid would be taught to salute all the fucking pioneers. Where you heard Akademiks recently try to disrespect the pioneers and had LL Cool J and Russell's. If you make LL and Russell come out the gate to make a message about you, you're being a douchebag.
Right.
You know, and I don't know Akademiks, and he'll never feature me, so I don't care. I mean, but I'm not going out of my way to diss him or whatever. I didn't even hear what he said specifically.
Right.
I know that he dissed the pioneers of hip hop. The fact that anybody would diss the pioneers of hip hop, you should get cracked in your fucking face.
This is the thing. What he said was pretty much a statement of fact, which is that...
What did he say? You tell me then.
A lot of the early people in rap, whether... I don't know. I don't think he was alluding to LL Cool J, but he would be kind of an example. LL Cool J did not make some insane fortune from music because A's getting...
Well, yeah, he did. LL did.
Well, but from
he's one of
and
them.
All this shit. But because realistically, he was probably getting raped by the record label just like everybody else from that era.
Of course.
And then you do look at certain people. You look at a Dr. Dre who was able to make a fuckload of money and stuff, but it's few and far between. Most of the people who are respected as artists, unless they were able to build some crazy business adjacent to their rapping, did not make that much money. Now, things are different now.
But what did he say specifically?
He basically just said... He didn't say it in a cool way like I just said. He said, y'all out here looking dusty as fuck. You've been in rap since the 80s.
Okay, hold on. You're going to call a rap pioneer like Melly Mel or Kool Herc dusty?
Right.
That's crazy disrespect. That's insane for you to even say that. And you're a fucking nobody. You never made a song in your life. All you do is feature 6ix9ine on fucking channel. That's what you do.
Yeah.
All you do is really push a negative agenda in hip hop. You're not pushing... Does he push anything positive? I don't know if he's your boy. And
he does interviews with, I mean, I respect his content a lot, and I think he's brought a lot to the game of doing content online and stuff. But all I'm saying is that his statement is basically true. A lot of these early rappers really did not capitalize on rap the way that the industry is set up now. If you came out right now, if you're 21 and you're the same dude and you rap exactly like you rap right now, you'd be a millionaire. You'd be signed to a label for a couple $1 million because they would be able to fucking monetize the shit that you were doing in a way that...
I still grossed $1 million anyway.
No, I'm not taking away from what you've been able to do independently because I know you've been on that grind, but I'm saying the machine is set up where there's going to be 10 different dudes that are going to say, Necro, let me do your merch for you. I'm going to take this, I'm going to build you this business, you're going to be making this amount.
I had to work a lot harder.
That shit was, you were figuring it out.
But check it out. You're talking a different thing now. What you're talking about now is the legends not getting their just due.
Right.
Technically, which everyone agrees on that. LL and fucking Russell would agree on that.
Right.
But only thing I heard here is you called the pioneers dusty.
Yeah, he said it in a disrespectful way, for sure.
Called the pioneers dusty. That's, first of all, you would have got raped in your ass if you were at a fucking an event back in the Bronx. They would have fucked you in your ass, bro.
Really?
I don't know, but I'm well, maybe Africa Bambaataa.
Oh, you weren't around for any of that?
Nah.
Thank God you didn't sign.
And I want to make something clear. 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 Utmost respect to Africa Bambaataa.
You can put the molestation to the side.
No, I can't. If you want to mention that, I can't because but here's the thing. I don't personally have the proof, but if it's real, hell's no.
Hassan Campbell's sitting around saying that he was a victim.
I'm just saying, if it's real, hell's no.
Right.
But this is probably why KRS-One has a problem when he was totally admitting it, because KRS-One is a dude for his entire career bigged up Africa Bambaataa.
Yeah.
Now he's being told he's a molester. KRS is perplexed. He's like, what the fuck? I mention this guy in every interview. For 30 years, I'm mentioning Africa Bambaataa.
But you think
it's a weird thing for a lot of people.
Is it possible that KRS-One didn't know? Or you think that he was complicit?
I don't think if KRS knew, because I don't think KRS-One is still going to big up Africa Bambaataa now.
No, yeah.
I think he didn't know it like this. It wasn't public. And Africa Bambaataa is a respected legend of hip hop. I even mentioned him in rhymes of respect. There's a reason I threw that out there.
But
not to be a dick.
His name's kind of like being erased.
I just want to backtrack.
His name's been kind of erased from rap history, right?
I want to backtrack a little bit.
They're going out of their way to not bring him up anymore.
Listen, I'm just being organic in what came to my mind, but in no way, what I disrespect. I'm saying, how did I even mention him? What was we were talking about how you can't disrespect legends in hip hop.
Right.
Right? You can't call them dusty. Oh, because I said you would get raped. Here's my point. I'm saying back in the day on some jailhouse shit, if you were in the Bronx
right.
and you called these real gang legends, a lot of them are gangs, the Black Spades, you disrespected and said dusty, yo, you're getting fucked up, bro.
Yeah.
Like you're gonna be lucky to come away from that. Only now, because a lot of these dudes are in their 60s. You're not gonna Africa Bambaataa is not stepping to Akademiks.
Didn't he dip out the country?
I don't know.
Yeah,
here's the problem. Here's the fucking problem. Okay? An old school legend has kids and shit now. They're not gonna go to prison for beating the shit out of one of these new guys.
Right.
Now.
Yeah.
So what's gonna happen? Academic has to deal with these young kids that walk around with guns, that are wearing these fucking
shiesties.
What's the new thing with the little thing with your face out? These guys are wearing them indoors too.
The shiesty.
Yeah, you're not sweating? Like, come on, bro. I can't rock that.
Yeah.
But I get it though. Listen, I get all thug shit. There's one thing about Necro. I always bring up the big pun line. Respect crime, but not when it reflect mine. I respect crime. Do your juxes, but you ain't juxing me.
Right.
Fuck out of here with that.
But what about when the guy at the bodega around the corner from you gets robbed? You respect that crime?
No, it's not about respecting it. It's that this is what
that it happened. That
I think the guy at the bodega should have a gat. He should have a revolver around the counter. And when dude comes in, all nervous, have your hand on the revolver if it's your business and you own a fucking business.
Yeah.
And you got a fucking license in New York City for your business.
Can you please get to this? How you got in this fight in England?
Oh, so
I love
bottom line, they were acting like
this guy.
I appreciate you. Listen, they were acting gangster. Okay, now here's my Necro's view.
Okay.
If it's my show and I'm on stage, I'm the head and in charge.
Okay.
It's my fucking show. I got paid to be there. I'm the headliner.
Right.
You're not disrespecting me at my own show. It's never fucking happened. Ever. Okay? These guys were the opening act. They thought they were gangster.
Right.
Long story short, they end up making Drew bleed in the pit because they didn't respect the pit because they think they're gangster.
Okay.
So they don't respect that part of the culture.
Right.
Okay? Okay, you think you're gangster. I jump off stage in the middle of my song to go address this one dude that hit him. Bouncers come, break it up. I was like, get this guy out of the fucking club. Bouncers are there to work for me. If it's my event, I'm the headliner, you work for me.
Right.
Shit didn't go well this night because we arrived late on tour and I didn't get to talk to head of security to let head of security to know he works for me tonight.
Right.
My show.
Okay.
If I say this guy gets 86 him.
So you tell the security
we don't talk, yeah.
Because normally it's like the artist versus the security.
Yeah, because artists are morons. If you have brains, you go meet the head guy of security, you look him in your eyes, you tell him, my crowd is crazy. We mosh pit, we get busy. If somebody's drunk and acts stupid, get rid of them, or I'm going to fucking be the one who jumps off stage and cracks them.
Right.
If this guy's a real man, he's going to be like, no, I got you. I'll do my job.
Right.
I just spoke to you like a real man.
Right.
I just told you fucking how my crowd gets busy.
Yeah.
Only an asshole would want fucking beef to happen after that. You spoke to them. We didn't get a chance that night, me and Hyde. Sometimes Hyde does it, sometimes I do it, to speak to security. So now there's this disconnect. And I'm already on stage and I didn't have a convo with these guys.
Right.
So now they look like they're more on the side of the fucking, this group.
Right.
So long story short, I see the kid coming back in the middle of me doing my song. So I automatically think if you're coming back into the club, maybe you got a knife on you now.
Right.
So I stop the song again, jump off stage, crack him, break his teeth, immediately break his teeth with the first left.
So you could really fuck somebody up.
Yeah.
Yeesh.
And I'm not even the illest. Mr. Hyde's even iller than me.
If you could take their teeth out immediately, that's a pretty good sign.
Well, if you know how to throw a proper punch and a throw left, I went to the boxing gym, same as Shannon Briggs in East New York, Brooklyn.
Shout out Shannon Briggs, my guy.
Yeah. East New York, Brooklyn, Starrett City Boxing Gym. I was trained by Larry the Panther.
Right.
Hyde used to come and spar with me, and it's kind of how I became friends with him because he was down to go to the boxing gym. And I'm not the illest.
Right.
But what happens is if you're a real dude and you know how to throw hands, them first 2 minutes you can destroy people.
Right.
It's after the 2 minutes I'll lose a little fucking my stamina.
Yeah.
But them first 2 minutes, you're catching.
I'm always shocked in a fight how I'm out of breath in like 30 seconds. I work out all the time. It'll fucking get you winded so fast as soon as you start swinging on somebody.
If somebody dissed your girlfriend, how different would you feel?
Oh, yeah, you turn into an animal. No, but for sure.
You see what I'm saying?
But as soon as you have a moment to perceive what has happened to you, you're like, oh my God, I just got so into it and so fucking physically exhausted.
It all depends who disses you. It all depends on the insult.
Yeah.
I look at it like you're insulting my rep. This is the shit I spent 20 years building.
Yeah.
And you're not known. I'm in your country. I'm headlining. You're trying to fuck my shit up. Right. You want to make a bitch out of me. There's no other difference in that.
So you knock his teeth out.
Because they could have been cool.
You knock his teeth out, then what?
Not all his teeth out. I knocked out one tooth. I cracked him with the left.
Right.
Boom. He's already a bitch. He's doing nothing now. That dude ain't doing shit now. He's fucking scared now. He knows the hands are going to break things on him.
Right.
I think I gave him fucking a broken fucking eye with another fucking punch. Hyde's fighting the bouncers. Tone's fighting the bouncers. It's 8 of them against us 4. We gave them a whipping.
Wow.
Then they pressed charges on us.
Right. Like immediately, or did this happen
No,
like down the road?
We go right back to the dressing room.
Yeah.
Now, here's the way I view it. Yeah, well, you laid that other guy out too. But bottom line, we fucked them up.
Right.
And they decided to call police and press charges. What I would have wanted them to do is lock the door. Could have been 8 of them against us 4 still. And said, we're going to handle this in the room here. No police. Oh, beautiful.
Right.
Please. Wow. Because I want to go home. I want to be able to go back to Brooklyn. I don't want to. I ended up getting arrested. They put me in a fucking cell where my shit turned green.
And you start having to miss the shows and shit too, right?
I think one got fucked up or whatever. It was towards the end of the tour. Damn. Anyway, I get deported with a fucking escort to JFK. When I land in JFK, I kiss the floor. Literally. I was so happy to be home.
Wow.
And
an escort, you have to pay for the person to escort you back?
No, they sent an official to make sure I don't, once I land in JFK, I don't go back to Switzerland. They're so sick, they thought that I want to go back there.
Right.
They had me banned from 26 countries called the Schengen territory because they think that I'm going to come back to France and slip back into Switzerland like I give 2 shit. I did have groupies in Switzerland, by the way.
Really?
Yeah, there was a girl I fucked in my hotel room, so... but I'm not going back to Switzerland to try to fuck a piece of ass.
Right.
But that's how they think. They think they're such hot shit that I'm going to try to weasel my way back into their country.
Right.
So for 3 years, I had to write, okay, so when I'm coming home on the plane, I go on Facebook. Remember, this is way before the 6ix9ine era. This is years ago. I don't remember what year, 2014 maybe.
Right.
And I call Switzerland Snitcherland. And the government saw it and got mad at me. I had to write an apology letter to the Switzerland consulate saying, I'm sorry for insulting you.
Holy shit.
Please let me back in Europe.
Hilarious.
And I had to hire a lawyer. And it took a lot. And then in 2017, after 3 years, I was able to go back to Europe. So now this time, I'm so militant because here's the thing. Anything can set us off.
Right.
Dealing with a groupie, our boyfriend's here. He opens his fucking mouth, crack.
Right.
Now it's like we're telling the groupies you can't bring nobody back. Being because I wanted to show Europe I can come back and do 10 countries, no drama.
Right.
Here's the way these people are. No disrespect, respectfully, most promoters are pussies. And so when they think I'm going to cause trouble.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Here's the crazy thing. It bothers me so much. If you're black, it's okay if you're a troublemaker. They'll book you more. Because he's real.
You were judged differently.
Yeah, because they look at white boys as like, I'm trying to be tough.
Interesting.
Like, I'm not trying to be tough. I'm feeling threatened. I don't have security. If I'm in your country and your security's doing a shit job and I'm on stage and there's drunk people acting dumb and I'm trying to rap technical shit, I'm getting outrageous on you, pulling razors on you, blazing. I don't got no fucking time to rap and worry about you fucking me up.
Right.
Like, if you get stupid, I'm kicking you in the grill. Like, I ain't got no fucking time for games with you.
Yeah.
But remember, security costs a lot of money. Sometimes if I was to hire a dude, I would have to give him all my show money because I'm an underground rapper.
Exactly.
I'm only getting 5 G's a show.
On an underground rapper
I'm not getting
budget,
20 G's a show.
The security guard could eat up the whole fucking budget.
He could eat up 3 G's.
A good chunk of it.
He could eat up 2 G's, but then I got to pay Mr. Hyde. I'm paying the DJ. We're bringing merch. You know what I mean? It's like you got to bring some crew.
And the problem is that when you're on tour and shit, it's like 99% of the time nobody's going to try anything with you. And then just every once in a blue moon, you're like, God damn, I wish I had a fucking handgun or a security guard.
You're right. 99% of the time, fans are cool.
Yeah.
But here's the thing. It was that 1% that killed John Lennon.
Exactly.
It's that 1% that killed Dimebag. It's that 1% that killed PNB, Rock.
Yeah.
It's that one dude out of 100 that day that might have guns on him that said, I'm gonna step to this dude.
Right.
And you need to be fucking ready, bro. When that dude steps to you, you better have Tone near you and Mr. Hyde.
Right.
Because these dudes is gonna crack people before you get to me.
I need them on my side.
Like if you're even looking at me wrong, they're coming up to me, tapping me. Yo, you see this?
So
dude
that's
here?
always kind of been your network on your tours and everything.
Well, of course. I mean, I'm always with goons.
Right.
Listen, keep it real. A king who has a fucking his own kingdom.
Right.
Does he go to another fucking kingdom with nobody?
No.
I'm just gonna roll. I'm the king. I'm rolling. I don't got no army with me. Nobody says that's wrong, right? He's a pussy. Why he's not rolling to the Westerland all by him? Because they'll cut his fucking head off.
You're deep on Hot D right now?
Yeah.
House of the Dragons?
Of course.
Okay.
Who isn't, bro? I mean,
but that's what I'm saying.
Are you?
Yes, the Kings are. I didn't watch the episode from last night.
Okay, I won't say
But
nothing.
the Kings are not going anywhere near the battlefield until everything's already sorted out.
Yeah.
Except that motherfucker. What's his name? Damon.
He's gully.
He
He's
turned
gully.
up
I
on
like
that
him.
island.
Yeah, that was fire.
Yo, the Crab King. Yeah, oh yeah. Sorry, that's like episode 2 or something.
But he's not a king though. But here's the thing: there are certain kings in history that were gangster.
Yeah.
Here's what I'm saying, so you understand my point. It's considered in hip hop to be pussy to have security or have people. You're a pussy. You're supposed to roll totally by yourself alone.
Yeah.
So what am I supposed to do if I'm Necro and I'm alone?
Right.
And you're 15 deep? 15 pussies can beat up one real dude.
But once you actually see how like top rappers are moving now, and I'm talking about the gangster
They're moving with
rap,
guys that are fucking up to that ceiling.
they are moving with
juggernaut.
They might have at the time that King Von got killed,
She-Hulk.
King Von got killed in Atlanta basically over a fist fight with Quando Rondo.
Okay.
And they said that at the time he had like 3-4 armed security in an SUV. He had his homies who had guns. So I mean, like you have like 7-8 guns right there.
Yeah, that's
and
crazy.
he still was so wild with his shit that he walked up on somebody he had beef with and started swinging on him and got killed in the process.
Well, the crazy shit is we've been knowing Chicago is don't play, right? This is all Chicago?
Well, it happened in Atlanta, but he's from Chicago, yeah.
Okay, but we know that, and a lot of these new rappers, listen, here's the thing, man. How did Necro survive all this time? Down with different crews and different gangsters of New York City and even around the world. How do I survive?
I don't know.
You've never heard of me getting played.
No.
Okay? Because you have to know who's a gangster and who the fuck is, and you have to know how to deal with another gangster.
Right.
And sometimes you're not the biggest gangster in the room. There's 100 times I'm the illest dude in the room. There's 100 other times I might not be the illest dude in the room. You know what I'm saying? And you need to be able to align with that dude on some peace shit.
Right.
And a lot of these people don't know how to do it. They're either not being taught,
right,
or they didn't grow up in the environment, or who knows? There could be many reasons. I would like to ask certain people. Now, the concept of walking up to somebody you have beef with and snuffing them,
yeah,
I support that. I've done that.
But it becomes a very different dynamic when you know his homies are standing right there with guns.
Right. That makes no sense because here now you're not being a smart soldier.
Right.
If you're going to be an intelligent soldier in your beef, catch that guy one-on-one somewhere and shoot the 5 with him.
Yeah.
You can even tell him when you step up, yo, let's just shoot the 5, son. One-on-one right now. Let's go into the alley right there. What's the worst that's going to happen?
Right.
One of you gets beat up? That's real man shit.
But shit has changed so much where nobody wants to have a fist fight these days.
Because they can't handle the loss.
Language. If we had told them,
they can't handle the ego. The loss is so painful.
Oh, yeah.
But for me, that makes me strong.
But most rappers accurately know that their career might be over if they took a loss in a fight, right?
And I think my fan,
and
here's the whole Necro fan base are people that fight fair ones and lose sometimes at bars, and know that a real man, if you're real, get up, man. All right, whatever. You know what I'm saying?
You miss that era?
especially in England. They'll fight each other and have beers right after.
But they'll also stab the fuck out of each other.
I mean, listen, if you can stab each other as long as it's not fatal. Don't hit the organs. Don't hit the jugular veins. Don't hit the organs. Stab over here.
Bro, I've seen people in England fighting each other with the biggest, most technical knives I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah.
It's like the equivalent of like the most hardcore American gun enthusiast where he's going to have 100 different modifications on his AK. Bro, their knife game is insane. And they're stabbing each other and you're watching their whole arm just open up. Bro, that shit is fucking
that's
nuts.
not a good look to have your arm open up, but
it makes stabbing somebody seem kind of civil in comparison. It makes shooting somebody seem kind of civil.
I used to carry a 24-inch machete as a kid. This was my thing. So I don't, because in New York City, if you get caught with a gun without a clip, it's a year.
Yeah.
And I never wanted to get locked up. I'll tell you why. Not because I'm scared or anything like that. I mean, I've gotten locked up, but like in jail, central booking, shit like that. Never did bids because I didn't want to lose my time in the game.
Yeah,
have 4 years go by and everyone else. So it's always in my head, like I gotta make sure I don't fuck up my rap career here.
Right.
But so I would say I could scare someone with a 24-inch machete.
Right.
And the cool thing about a 24-inch machete is you can carry it down the side of your leg and you can run and it moves with your leg.
Right.
You don't cut yourself because it's in a sheath.
Yeah.
And that's what I would carry a lot. So I didn't have to carry a gun because I always looked at it like this. With guns, you're going to do major prison time. And then a lot of times if you kill the person, that's 25 to life.
Yeah.
So like you can get away with shit. I got away with a lot of shit with just having my machete and my hands where cops will let me go. Or I just got community service.
But these days you get...
But I'm a smart guy.
You get caught with a machete on Canal Street in this day and age in New York, I feel like you're going away for a little bit, right?
I don't know.
No?
No, because you know what I would say?
I don't know, yeah.
Cops will go, what are you doing with this?
I'm a butcher.
Like, yeah, I work fucking cutting weeds. I work in Brooklyn, and I just came back from cutting weeds.
Right.
And this is my new machete that I need for the job. I do landscaping.
Yeah. Never mind the fact that my name is Necro and I have all these albums of songs about dismembering human beings.
Yeah, but the cop doesn't know that. Here's the one thing I also learned.
Don't tell them that you're a rapper?
No, talk to cops talk to cops respectfully.
Yeah.
Okay? Yes, officer. No, officer. I'm not saying kiss the guy's ass. If the cop comes up to me, I put out a song called All Cops Are Bastards. The cop came up to me. Oh, so you're that dude that did All Cops Are Bastards. And I would say yes. And I said in the song, very few have respect. So you show me right now that you are one to be respected.
Right.
Let him be cool. Let me go.
But I feel like
if you let me go, listen, if you arrest me, you are a cop fucking bastard. So fuck you anyway.
That's like you put out a rap lyric that's like, most of y'all Crips are bitches. And then a Crip runs up on you and you're like, I said most. I'm not
dumb. I'm not gonna diss Bloods and Crips.
Yeah.
Okay. Now cops, it's a little bit different.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And my song was about when COVID was happening and there was fucking riots in 140 cities, and it was like the tension was up, and that's when I made my song ACAB.
Right.
You know, but what I was trying to say is if I talk to a cop and he's asking me shit, I'm just going to respond. I'm aware he has the power. I'm not a dumb person.
Right.
I have brains. And I always have a piece of fucking weapon on me. So why would I want to let this guy have the up on me? It's all about strategy in life. Everything really strategy. This is why I said I survive. I understand strategy. So for instance, anytime I ever had beef with somebody who's a goon, I immediately get them on the phone and I talk with them and I hash it out with them. I'm not talking about somebody who wanted to beat me up.
Right.
Okay, I ain't no pussy. There ain't no dude say, oh, I'm going to beat Necro up.
Right.
I'm saying if some shit happened and this guy is a known dude and maybe it was some kind of beef happened, get on the phone with the guy.
Right.
You understand? A pussy's going to not want to, okay, and let it linger. Don't let beef linger. Because beef rots.
But that's a product of the internet age. Is
that
these motherfuckers don't want to have conversations with each other. They don't want to actually, because
they want to go. They want to be like 6ix9ine and go, fuck you, suck my dick, I got 800 billion. Okay, but listen, how does he survive? He has to have fucking police watching him.
Right.
You can't. You know what I mean? Like you have people. You got to pay people. I don't have to pay people. Guess what? I've been through the world. I did a lot of drama. Yada yada. I don't got to pay nobody to do nothing. I can still roll with my crew. You understand what I'm saying? I don't have to be that dude. You want to know something funny? When we went to Canada, for them to let me in Canada, I had to hire, it's going to sound like I'm trying to be tough. I'm really not, to be honest with you. We had to hire security to protect the people from us. The government said you have to hire a security
because your record of violence was bad.
Yeah, because they it's weird. Black rappers, and this is nothing against anyone black. I'm being honest with you. Black rappers can have these records, but they get still booked because the way that these promoters think, oh, that's just how he is.
Right.
With Necro, I get all this bullshit. Oh, he's a troublemaker. He's difficult. No, I'm not, man.
Are you
protecting me when I'm in your city? Are you protecting me?
Right.
You don't give a shit if I live. Think about it. This is how sick it is. You see people dying now. These promoters don't care if I live or die. So what the fuck do I give a shit what you think?
Well, they probably don't want you to die at their show because they could be held liable.
Of course. But you get what I'm saying.
Right, yeah.
Like, they're not thinking what I'm thinking.
Right.
I'm thinking worst scenario. How do I deal with this? Oh, okay. Well, we need to go hit up. We just landed in Canada. We need to go hit up the knife store.
I want to get
when we were in the Midwest, we hit up Walmart for butcher knives.
Let me get your thought. I want to get your thought process on this.
Yeah.
You talk about rapping brutality.
Yes.
You know, this is a thing that you've always believed in. Like, this is a tenet of what makes
I was going to explain that.
You're rapping. And I compared it to Cannibal Corpse because I see it as sort of like a similar stylistic decision and everything like that. Where does that come from? What is it about you that believes that that's where you want your shit to bring people?
Okay, so when I was doing Thug shit and Mobb Deep dropped, right? And the Infamous was incredible. You familiar?
Oh, yeah.
With the record? Okay.
Yeah.
So I'm like, yo, this record, wow. These dudes fucking did it.
Right.
Like Prodigy came even crazier than he ever has. He elevated his lyrical skills. And I'm like, I was rapping shit like that. You know how you know I'm rapping shit like that? Because one of my biggest songs on Spotify right now, it blew up in the last 2 years, is a demo called Robbery 95.
I love that song. When I was listening to your top Apple songs, and I was like, how the fuck have I never heard this song before? This song's amazing.
Promoted that song.
Really?
I just put it on Rare Demos and Freestyles Volume 1.
That was one of the songs I was thinking about, is that song sounds like one of the best songs I've heard of that generation that I never heard at the time.
Okay, and that's the same year Mobb Deep dropped Infamous. So I had it in me because I was doing juxes. I'm not going to lie. I was the biggest jux guy in around. But back then, we didn't have jobs. People wouldn't give us, especially if you look thugged out. You know, bosses talk down to you. The thug mentality is nobody could talk down to me.
Right.
You know what I mean? So you start selling weed. You start doing shit of that nature. You know what I'm saying? And then you start doing juxes. You want to eat a combination plate. It's $5 for an egg roll and this and that. Your mother doesn't want to give you money that time. You're still relying on mom. She's like, I'm not giving you no money.
Right.
Not even $5 combination. So now you go and you try to rob a pocketbook. You try to rob a gas station.
Is that combination plate like $14 now?
No, now they're more expensive. Of course,
man,
they used to be $5, bro.
I think it might have been $7 when I was living here, man. It's definitely gone bad since
it was
then.
delicious.
Yeah,
I remember. It was back then when dumplings in New York City were delicious. They're horrendous now.
What happened?
Nobody can make good dumplings anymore. I'm saying it right now.
Yo, we're in the heart of where we could get some good dumplings at, though.
Okay,
right?
well, if you can find dumplings, listen, I'm going to keep it real with you. I've called up 100 places since COVID.
Really?
And the dumplings, if a good dumpling, I talk with Tone about this, is crispy. It's crisp. No, they're never healthy because they're pork.
No, yeah.
But they're crispy, and they're not soggy, and they don't taste like a whack goza.
Right.
They're like that New York City bodega, you know what I mean? Chinese spot fucking, he knows, oily like a motherfucker, but they're like nothing on this planet, bro. But I wanted to make a point. So when Mobb Deep was doing the Doug shit, I'm like, fuck, man. Like, I'm not getting no deal. I'm like, and I was already making really dark death metal beats. Remember, okay, so I was in a death metal band. Have you ever heard of L'Amour's?
No.
L'Amour's was the rock capital of Brooklyn.
Okay.
It was a venue.
It's a club.
In Bensonhurst.
Right.
Metallica played there.
Yeah.
Slayer played there.
Wow.
Sepultura, Obituary, every New York hardcore band. It was the Mecca in the middle of Bensonhurst. L'Amour's. Anybody who's a real head. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Shout out to Isaac and all those type of dudes.
Yeah.
My boy Danny Diablo.
Shout out
That's a
Danny
reason
Diablo.
to shout him out now.
Wow.
No, because we come from the culture that everybody played L'Amour's or went to L'Amour's. King Diamond would play L'Amour's. So I was in a metal band at 12. I had hair down on my ass and a fucking yellow BC Rich Warlock. And I was able to play technical death metal. Like, still, till this day, you don't lose it. It's like riding a bike.
Yeah.
So like you ever heard like triplets? Most metal bands. It's like there's a whole culture around being a metal thrash guitar guy.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That's what I was.
Which is a very unique viewpoint for you to be coming from, because I've always felt like most rappers are very much like not aware of metal at all.
So I'm in junior high school wearing an Anthrax Among the Living shirt.
Yeah.
I'm wearing a Megadeth P-Cell shirt.
Right.
I'm wearing a Master of Puppets Ride the Lightning or a Metal Up Your Ass shirt with the fucking shirt where they have a knife going up the toilet bowl.
All shirts that you could probably buy at Urban Outfitters within the last couple of years too. The game is all
you'll see a poser girl walking down the street. What band is that? I don't know. Don't talk to me, rapist. Like, go fuck yourself, bitch. Yo, Dave Mustaine from Megadeth. Dave Mustaine from Megadeth got dissed by a girl that was wearing his shit.
What?
He went up to her. He's like, yo, you're wearing my band. How you doing? She's like, get away from me, old man.
Wow.
He's like, but you're wearing my band.
She don't.
Excuse me.
Yeah. She ain't heard a song.
Oh, no.
Never.
She goes, I bought it down the block at some fashion shop.
Yeah.
It's probably some, they just made like a couple, so it's like.
Urban Outfitters, no, they got the licensing deals. They got every store in the fucking country with like.
You know why? Because Megadeth probably fucking sold the license. Here's the funny thing. This girl's shitting on Dave Mustaine, but he probably gets a check from it.
It's just a cool little piece of iconography for them. It's like, oh, American culture. It's like having a fucking soup can on your shirt from their perspective,
Yeah. No, it's,
but actually, I think it's kind of funny when you see the black rappers wearing like a Slayer shirt and they never listen to Slayer.
I always know.
That's their way of reappropriating our fucking culture.
Posing.
Yeah. Well, I do think it's super corny too, for sure.
It's what metalheads would have called posing. I remember getting.
But it's kind of like revenge.
Maybe.
That's for all the white people that appreciate hip hop for purely aesthetic purposes.
I just think black culture has always been able to decide what's fresh. If I wear a Nike, if I wear your Nikes right now, somebody could say, oh, this shit is corny. But if Kanye's wearing them, it's the dopest shit ever.
Yeah.
Like, it's just like that, bro.
Yeah.
Why is it like that? Because media fucked over people like me. I got fucked over. Media kept pumping into people's heads that, first of all, if you're white, if you're not Eminem's level, okay, so for instance, if you go to my Spotify, right? Could you go to Spotify now? Do you have Spotify? Because one thing I wanted to do during the interview. Type in Necro. You'll understand my point of how sick people are these days.
Let's type in Necro. There we go. We got
how many monthly listeners it shows you?
5,700.
No.
579,800.
Okay, round it off. 580,000.
Almost 600K. Yeah.
Okay. Most rappers, 99% that try to rap on this planet, don't even have 1,000 fucking monthly listeners.
Right.
I'm destroying the majority of people on the planet. But a person in the street will compare me to Eminem and say, you don't have 40 million. You're not relevant. Like a dumb girl that knows nothing about music. Right. Not to say all women are dumb. I'm saying a chick that we know that knows nothing about music, not a cultured one, like our fans, but, like your average broad that only knows what people tell them. Yeah. She'll think I'm whack and I'm not popping. She'll look at 500,000 monthly listeners and in her head go, dude, you ain't fucking nobody. Right. He's a nobody. I never heard of him. Right. If I didn't hear of him, he's a nobody. Damn. But I got 500,000 people monthly. Now remember, this is one platform. Yeah. I'm on Apple Music. I'm on YouTube. I'm on this. 100 different platforms. It is what it is. Yeah. I got my fan base. Right. There's some rappers from the 90s that aren't as big as me now that had major label deals. Then you got some emo trap guy who might have 10 million now. Yeah. How did he blow up?
But see, okay, that's the thing and why the monthly listener stat is kind of weird and why your numbers are actually probably representative of more than you would think is because if you at one point in your career, let's say by some rare chance that you were given a verse on the Marshall Mathers LP. Okay. That number is going to be like 5 million right now. It's going to be ridiculous. Just be one song because that song is going to get played from that album.
But it might not last.
And that
depends.
True, but that's why a lot of these rappers, when you see, why is Lil Durk doing a song with Nav and with fucking Lil Baby, et cetera, is because they're all just juicing each other's Spotify numbers by doing music together,
Listen, agreed. And some of them do deserve it. Some of them are big.
Right, yeah.
It depends. But like, for instance, I'll give you some context to my numbers. 70% of those numbers are from Necro fans.
I would assume, yeah.
Literally just typing in Necro on Spotify.
Right.
The way they would type anyone in. So if some guy's sitting here and he's a DMX fan, that's what his flavor is. Right. What do I want to eat today? Yeah. Pizza, They're typing in Necro. What that means is nothing to do with Spotify's help. Right. Nothing to do with someone else's playlist. It's 70% people that fuck with me that woke up and maybe they want to hear I need drugs.
Right.
Maybe they want to dive deep. Whatever the case is. 30% is from their radio that they give you where Spotify radio.
Playlisting and shit.
Right. And, no, but not editorial.
Oh, okay.
I get 1% help from Spotify. That's how bad they don't help me.
Right.
They're scumbags with that. 1% I get. But 30% is from Necro Radio and Release Radar and things like that. So they're helping a little bit. I do have, like 150,000 followers of the page. They're supposed to give Release Radar to that 150 on their homepage.
Okay.
So they'll know when the new shit drops.
Right.
Like I got something new dropping September 30th, which is a porn song called Go Down South.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I have an alias when I'm rapping. There's death rap, necro, I'm brutal, evil.
What's your sex name?
The Sexicist. And I rap. I would go as far as to say I'm the illest sex rapper on the planet. Nobody can fuck with me.
I need some of that in my life. Yeah, I got to stop listening to
you'll
R. Kelly when I fuck. I only listen to R. Kelly when I fuck, yeah.
Wow. And R. Kelly, man, he's a weird one, right? That's very taboo. No, it's weird because so many people, it's so weird when everyone fucking loves you, and now they can't anymore because you're a pedophile.
But I'm so I'm so not invested in R&B that I don't give a fuck.
Neither am I.
Whereas like if you, I don't know, did some bitch shit, if you got caught snitching, whatever the worst thing that a rapper could do, I'm never going to be able to listen to you without thinking about that element, you know?
I agree. I mean,
for better or for worse. Because it is just art at the end of the day, right? I
agree.
Okay, anyways, what makes you want to be so brutal?
Right.
Because I'm thinking, okay, you mentioned Mobb Deep. I'm thinking, rock you in your face, stab your brain with your nose bone.
He had lines.
You took that and just said, how can I make this more extreme?
Okay, so I'll give you an example. So like Nas.
Right.
The hardest Nas will rap is you getting clapped up shit in the hood. Okay? Maybe he'll paint the picture of some blood on the floor. You're not going to get too deep into what really happens. If a dude really gets clapped in the brain, that's a nightmare for the fucking little kid that lives in the building that sees brain splattered everywhere.
Right.
But it's not, most rappers don't detail
that's
the
why
brains on the
keep
floor.
It kind of simple, right?
Right.
Yeah.
They keep it, it's just, the illest line I ever heard Nas say is, possessed like a nigga breaking, possessed by Satan.
Okay.
I thought it was ill because he mentioned Satan and he entwined it with a dude breaking and being possessed.
Right.
That was a fire line. Oh, and I went to hell for snuffing Jesus. So that's considered extremely taboo in the black world of music that those guys went there. That's why a lot of the stuff G Rap was doing, it wasn't accepted. Break a bitch neck.
Yeah.
He was one of the only guys literally talking about breaking a woman's neck.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Or beating up his woman in public. So basically for me, I'm influenced by the Ghetto Boys at this time. I'm listening to the album Rick Rubin produced, which is fucking destruction. I mean, they bodied that record.
Right.
And I'm like, yo, they went gold doing that style. NWA were considered super fucked up. And so I'm also influenced from metal. The beats I'm making are dark because I know how to play guitar. Right. So I'm playing bass lines on my shit and I'm taking bass lines and putting them on loop beats. And the bass lines, I'm taking a bass line from the band Creator or Obituary or this because the certain riffs, Chapel of Ghouls from Morbid Angel, and I'm putting them on my drums and now it's original Necro shit. Then I'm getting into serial killers. This is around the time when Jeff Dahmer just dropped.
Before every woman in America became a true crime fan?
Oh, definitely. There was a time where you would go to the library and they were putting books out with Jeff Dahmer. And I think about it now.
You seen that new series about him?
Incredible.
I haven't seen it, but I keep hearing about it.
Oh, bro.
I got to get on it. Fuck.
Yo, they shot it like a Scorsese meets like Blow.
Oh, really?
The way they all time period. Lot of fucking him as a normal dude with family.
Oh, wow.
So it's creepy because you're starting to almost like him, like because you're not seeing him just as the mysterious guy. They put all mysterious away, but it made it iller. Because that's what you want to
see. If it gets the Necro seal of approval, then I know it's legit.
It's fucked. Yo, bro, it's fucked up. They covered everything. I'm talking to him getting killed at the end in jail.
But so, okay, like, because this is my whole thing, is like, you're obviously talking about things that you haven't done, don't want to do.
Wrong.
When you're really talking about mutilating someone's body, cutting it up, I don't know.
Wrong. Hold on.
You do want to do it.
No, let's clarify. Some things I've done, some things I don't. Fat Joe obviously is respected for his street cred. He said he hasn't killed 100 people before.
You think you got a couple?
I don't know. I'm not going to talk about a dude like that and speak and say something stupid and make myself an asshole.
For sure.
You know what I mean? I'm gonna have respect because that's part of the street shit I'm talking about. You know what I mean? We don't cross the line and say dumb shit. But he said that publicly. He said, I can't, in my raps, da.
Right.
Because everyone in hip hop, Dr. Dre murdered 100 people.
Right.
In his verses. Did he really? We don't know if somebody did something. Now, if you're asking me, have I bludgeoned people? I made the news in Perth, Australia for bludgeoning some dude in the middle of the street. I broke his fucking
What did you
jaw.
Bludgeon him with? I haven't bludgeoned
With
in a
my
long
fists.
time. Oh, okay. Yeah.
Here's the difference between me. When Necro gets locked up violently, it's because I'm using my fists against somebody. Once again, just respectfully and clearly, not bragging. Okay, I'm from the street. You're not playing me. I ain't no bitch. So if we got beef, we bang out. Anybody who's real is going to say, I got you, 100%. Right. I get it. I'm not trying to run around and shoot people. I don't need to shoot you if I can punch you in your fucking face.
Right.
Do you understand what I'm saying? Plus, it's a different culture. In the white culture, kids are more likely to shoot the 5 with the fist, maybe a bat. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's in this new culture, the black rap, trap, and all that they're murdering each other. Like, I don't think it should happen. They should just shoot the fair one. I think
that would be nice.
Look, man, if you got a beef with somebody, I mean, you can set it on him, but why are you shooting him and killing him? Here's the thing. I believe like this. If you're going to shoot and kill someone, get away with it then.
Right.
Like, if you're not getting away with it.
Don't make a song about it.
No, if you really. Here's what I'm trying to say. Understand this logic.
Right.
If you're going to shoot somebody, get away with it. Only a moron shoots someone and gets arrested
in the heat of the moment at the county
fair.
fair.
Fuck that heat of the moment bullshit.
Right.
Okay? These dudes are waking up deciding what cereal they're going to eat. They can make a fucking decision. Oh, shoot or not today.
Right.
Okay? You're doing it because you're dumb and fucking ignorant. And here's the problem. If you don't have fucking family members that taught you anything, that's crazy. Like, nobody?
And in this day and age, like, if you wanted to kill somebody in the 80s, for sure, I believe you could get away with it. In this day and age, you've really got the odds against you.
Here's what you got to understand.
You going to tell me how easy it is for you to kill people?
Anybody can get it. Anybody, yes. Anybody can get it if they decide they want to get you.
Yeah.
If somebody decided tomorrow they want to get you, and it's really have a fucking problem with you.
Yeah.
There's a good chance they can unless you go out of your way to thwart it.
Very few people have designed their lifestyle in such a way that there are no holes in their
Dimebag got shot on stage.
In
John Lennon got murdered in front of his building.
No rapper or no band ever thought that was a possibility. They never knew that was a possibility.
So this is why I'm very careful. I'm aware of my own mortality enough that I don't think I'm all that.
Yeah.
I'm aware that flesh bleeds. I rap about how easy it is for the flesh to be chopped off and that a machete can destroy you. So you want to be more careful. You understand? You want to value your own fucking life. You want to at least feel like you got something to lose. Here's the thing. A lot of these kids, maybe they don't feel they have anything to lose.
Oh, definitely.
If you feel like you have nothing to lose at all, you're going to do some fucked up shit.
Yeah.
Remember, I knew I had something to lose going back to my 20s as Necro.
A lot of kids are basically like indoctrinated into the gang shit at such an early age that it just doesn't even seem like there's an option or another way, or there's nothing that could be cooler than sliding on your ops on behalf of the older dudes who basically have taken you in and protected you and given you this sense of identity.
But here's the thing. If that's gang shit, then that's gang shit.
Yeah.
If you're a rapper now, an MC that wants to build a business and rap the culture of hip hop, it's a little different.
But you love violent, gory music.
I don't love it. Okay, how do I?
Part of you that looks at drill music and is like,
I don't listen to drill music.
Right, but
never have.
You've heard a little bit of it, I'm assuming, right?
Is there
something about the realism there that is interesting to you?
I don't like non-lyrical hip hop, and I don't like hip hop that doesn't sample shit.
Right.
Okay, so you could say I'm stuck in 1990. I'm stuck in boom bap. Everything to me revolves around digging records,
really
finding incredible, because that's my fucking culture.
The samples are that big a part of it. That's interesting.
I love it.
Because I feel like...
Ask Pete Rock what he thinks about samples. Ask Premier what he thinks about samples.
I think the loss of samples has been like the greatest loss for hip-hop. When you think about the culture moving away from it because they wanted to monetize 100% of the record.
What do you think My Name was? Sample.
Was it? I didn't realize that.
Yeah. So what I'm trying to say is even a guy like Dre who adds the keyboards, wow, 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 He'll add the break on the bottom, boom, boom. He'll take fucking, on Gin and Juice, he samples fucking Casey and the Sunshine Band. Dun, 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 dun.
Right.
What's it called? I Get Lifted.
Yeah.
Because a drill beat, yes, sometimes it might be evil.
Right.
I don't like
sounds dark,
I don't like the pa-ta-ta-ta-ta drums.
You don't like the 808s?
No, I like shit. No.
I don't blame you.
I like an 808.
Okay.
If it's a guy playing drums, boom, boom, da, boom, 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 da, boom, boom, da, boom, boom, da, boom. You can put that right on the kick.
Right.
But it's different. It's boom bap. There's something about boom bap.
Yeah.
That a certain culture, we love it. Obviously, millions love it, bro.
Rap just keeps getting
500,000
faster
people.
and faster, right? Like the beats now are ridiculous. There's so much happening. It's so fast. It's crazy. And now when you listen to like slower songs, even from a couple years ago, from those same artists.
Like what artists are you talking? I gotta give me an example. I don't.
A lot of guys like fucking, a lot of these drill beats and stuff, you listen to somebody like Lil Durk or NBA Youngboy.
I'm not familiar with that music.
Oh, okay.
I mean, not because.
One day we're going to sit around on stream and I'm going to play you hella
if you wanted to do
artists.
that
Would be fucking
shit. If
interesting.
you wanted to do some reaction shit with us.
That's a great idea.
I mean, I'm open to shit. You know what I mean? Like, but I'm not gonna lie to you. You know what I mean?
I know you're not gonna love it.
No, because you know what it is. When you're a rapper, we only got 24 hours in a day.
Right.
Right. 8 hours we're supposed to sleep, even though most workers like us, we don't sleep 8 hours. Then you got to go to the gym. You got to eat food. How much time do we have to work on our own shit?
Yeah, I don't blame you.
So I got limited time. So I almost stopped myself. I don't want to get into the fucking wormhole or the tunnel of every fucking motherfucker because it gets to the point now, every fan is a rapper.
I want to ask you this. How do you reflect on, a lot of times now people use gatekeeping as like a negative thing.
I hate gatekeepers, yes.
But you come from an era in which
of the gatekeepers,
protecting the sanctity of hip hop and real lyricism and real rapping was of the utmost importance.
They would try to protect it from me.
Now we live in an era in which it's like, the gloves are off, fuck it, do whatever you want. You know, it's like how have you kind of adapted to that in a society where...
I'll tell you why part of it happened. Part of it happened because a lot of the dudes who are older dudes now...
Right.
Didn't know how to do it independently. So I'll give you like a metaphor. I go up a mountain, right? Independently. I get to the top. I fight King Kong. It took me 10 years to get up to the mountain. I had to fight all the ghosts and goblins that try to get me. I'm strong now. I know how to defeat King Kong when he's up there now. I can shoot him with my blowgun. You know what I'm saying? King Kong goes to the bottom. I stay at the top. Major label rappers, people that were out in 1990 to 2000 that had deals with the Tommy Boys and this and that company and that, they got flown right to the top of the mountain. They never learned the skills of independence that we had to learn of us independent guys and all the murder and hell we went through of putting every dollar into I pressed up every sampler myself. I went into the street. A lot of these people had street teams paid for them, everything done for them. They're sitting on their ass in the studio with 20 people smoking, blah, blah, blah. They didn't learn anything. So what happens now when they're older dudes now, they're 40 or 35 and they have their kids and they never knew how to be independent. They're not teaching their kids to preserve hip hop. They might even hate hip hop. And here's the sad thing, and I don't want to bring it up because you didn't bring it up, but a lot of these dudes blaming white people for why their shit fucked up when it's white guys that would invested in everybody's fucking career, right? So it's very easy to say, you know, oh, the reason that we're not popping anymore is because the white guy signed me to a bad deal. Nah, the white guy invested in you and blew you up, and you started getting groupies around the fucking world and shows at 20 G's a pop. And you decided to fuck your money up. Wait, let me finish. You fucked your money up, and you decided not to teach these new kids about real hip hop because you're fucking bitter. Okay? Because if you think about it, if any new kids don't know about boom bap, and because you said keeping it real, it's because these older hip hop guys are not teaching them.
Have kind of allowed it to become the status quo to not know anything about your history.
They didn't give a fuck about the younger generation because they feel they got screwed.
Right.
Because think about it. If you're a 90s guy, and I'm being 100, a white guy signs you, puts up $150,000, you put your album out, you make some money, you go around the world, shit ain't popping on your third, fourth album now.
Right.
You don't know how to do it independent. You don't even have the drive anymore.
Right.
First thing you're doing is telling people, oh, shit failed because white guy owes me money. I hear that because I hear it constantly.
But it used to be
it's
like...
fucking deafening how many times I hear that it's the guy that invested in you which is the reason your career's dead.
But you always had a more steady, not crazy viral career that never had these crazy peaks, right?
Right, but
you built something consistent.
But I maintained diehard fans one by one that I kicked it with and spoke to and met in person and shook their fucking hands and talked to them through every fucking platform, where a lot of these bigger rappers think, I ain't talking to these motherfuckers.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, yo, I get my own fans asking me, all these other rappers have people running their social media. You don't, Necro? I'm like, I'm shocked. Why would you let another person talk to your people?
Right.
That's like you being a politician and you're not talking to the people you want to vote.
Well, they don't write their own speeches.
No, but you at least get into the street and talk to the people.
True.
You have to at least do that.
Yeah.
In the least, you got to go to Ohio and shake a fucking hand.
The gatekeeper thing, when I was saying that, when I'm thinking about the days of rap where it actually seemed important for somebody like you to challenge what was being played on the radio. Whereas in this day and age, there's so many different underground scenes and people who do all this shit. And they don't give a fuck about what's being played on the radio because everybody gets it. Oh, the radio is just
fucked up shit is. You're
mainstream people driving in their cars. Who gives a fuck about what they're listening to, right? But that seemed like an existential threat to real hip hop at the time.
You're right.
Yes.
At a certain point, KRS called out Soulja Boy.
Oh, yeah. The Ice-T
and everyone,
shit,
and everyone went against Ice-T and KRS. You old motherfuckers. You're fucking, how dare you diss Soulja Boy? Young black brother coming up. Right. Instead of saying, yeah, he might be a young black brother, but he sucks. Okay. Let me tell you something about the black community, and people watching may be like, shut the fuck up. I get it. I'm not trying to insult anybody. I'm making a point here. In the black community, you can be a horrible, atrocious black rapper and get accepted. But if you're a lyrical Puerto Rican or a lyrical white kid, you're being compared to Eminem and you're not as good as Eminem, and fuck you. You could be the truest motherfucker to the game and they'll be like, fuck that corny white shit or whatever. Oh, you know what? Why is he not? You know, he ain't Big Pun. He ain't, you know what I mean? Like but you could take a Soulja Boy, that biggest fucking thing ever. You could have 1,000 terrible black rappers, and here's what the black community says. Well, it's a black brother coming up in the game.
But the optics were...
Wait, let me finish. Please. I just want to get the point out.
Right.
The black community will say, but that's a young black brother.
Exactly. Making something out of nothing.
But KRS challenged it and said, nah, you're whack.
Yeah.
KRS said you are whack.
Right.
And people called KRS a hater.
The optics optics are grumpy old man who's angry at the new kid who's just making something out the dirt.
Why do you think nobody's doing it?
I'm just saying what.
And then KRS got at Nelly because Nelly had that song, I'm number one.
Yeah.
And KRS got insulted. He's like, oh, that's my shit.
KRS One ain't picking those fights anymore, though.
Oh, of course he's not, because he learned his lesson.
Yeah.
But at the time, he felt... Okay, but here's the thing.
But that's KRS One not realizing how much the game had changed, that nobody gives a fuck. It's not about who's the best rapper or whatever.
Nelly
gets to say he's number one.
Nelly was platinum.
He's number one like that. Yeah.
And here's the joke. KRS got bombarded by Nelly fans. So he's hearing his whole circle. He can't even hear the sound of his own fans anymore.
Right.
It's Nelly fans now. You fucking old fuck. You suck. When KRS is a god of hip-hop.
KRS is reading his Twitter mentions in 2009 like, what in the hell?
Listen, I don't know him personally. We met him at Rock the Bells when I played Rock the Bells in 2010. I was on Rock the Bells. Do you remember the festival?
Yeah.
Okay, and we met KRS, and he was mad cool. I called KRS I Am My Jewels, which were way iller than this. This is for sale to my fans.
Okay.
I sell this like in my store.
Really?
But there was a point where I had like $10,000 jewels.
Yeah.
And I'm at Rock the Bells, and KRS is like grilling my jewels. And I felt good about that. I was like, oh shit, KRS the legend is checking my jewels out.
You think he was trying to snatch your shit?
Nah. There was only like 3 people that had dope jewels at Rock the Bells.
Right.
Raekwon, Busta, Necro, and Slick Rick.
Right.
Slick the Rick obviously shout out the illest jewelry ever.
How do you think of the bad boy era in retrospect?
We hated the bad boy era at the time, even if we like
it now, because now you hear More Money, More Problems. It's like, woo, this is a sign of 1998. It was a great year, yada, yada. But at that time, it seemed like an existential threat to rap music, right?
It was a little gay. Well, it was a little gay because it was on MTV. It had the colorful,
shiny suits.
Yeah, the shiny suits.
And because you had like the hardest core lyricists, the Jadakisses and the Styles P were like, fuck that shit. We're marching around with signs. We're protesting the shiny suits.
I remember that.
Yeah.
Listen, Mace was nice. Mace is a nice rapper because he originally is Killer. Was it Killer Mace?
Yeah.
Murder Mace, sorry.
But so it's like
he was originally Murder Mace.
Somebody being a lyrical rapper is they just have to rap about killing people, right?
No, you don't
like him once he got fly.
I'm going to tell you why I did what I did.
Yeah.
Okay, because I realized that I was not going to be able to compete with Mobb Deep. I didn't have a deal. They were out. They were in every magazine. I knew I was bringing something to the table that nobody else was doing.
Right.
Okay, people were doing horrorcore. Horrorcore is when you were kind of cheesy. The beats weren't boom bap. They weren't New York sounding. They didn't have the edge of like a Pete Rock, Large Professor, Premier, Marley Marl type Dre beat. They were like more like Casio beats, like, like corny horror. I didn't like that. I was like, the way I'm rapping is lyrical like Nas, but I'm rapping brutal. And here's the funny thing. People act like, oh, you're rapping brutal. It's crazy. There's dudes in the hood that get the brains blown out every fucking day. That's not a gore scene?
Yeah.
It is. It's gore. It's on the floor. Little kids are seeing it.
But you would take it worse than that.
I mean,
you'd be like, I'm stripping your intestines from your stomach. I wish I had like a lyric sheet of your worst lyrics right here.
If the line calls for it. But, but remember, I'm also mixing it with the name of a horror director.
Yeah.
I might mention fucking, Phyllis Diller. I might talk about murdering people in the same line by mentioning Phyllis Diller's spine. It's all lyrical. Remember, we're incorporating culture. One thing that my crew would do that a lot of people didn't do was we would incorporate and mention a metal band or a metal album. So now anyone who's a metalhead catches that line. Oh, shit. I might mention H.G. Lewis, who put out the first gore flick in 1960. So now the horror heads do that. It's not just like, I'm going to kill you. You understand? It's not as simple as that. It's lyricism. But yeah, we're throwing in intestines in there because here's the reality. Every day in the police deal with the fucking morgue area and they're opening people up. It's called, what you want to say is you're rapping taboo subject matter. People don't want to
Do you watch murders on YouTube? Or not on YouTube, but on the internet?
I mean, it depends. I don't go out of my way.
I know some people, like we've had sites in the past that are basically just like Colombian drug dealers getting their fucking faces cut off, and then it's some cartel dude
saw that recently,
lighting some bitch on fire, burning her hair off, fucking all the gnarliest shit ever.
I'm one of the first dudes on my albums that I mentioned Faces of Death shit.
Right.
Remember the Faces of Death VHSs?
Is there anything that you like about seeing that? Would that inspire you? Would you sit down and watch that shit before you go in the stew?
It's not. It's not about that.
No.
It's not about me. I'm not Jeff Dahmer where I'm into getting turned on. I like art. I like creating hip hop that's brutal.
Right.
And I like the fact that when you hear it, you're going to hear something that you're not going to hear from another rapper.
Right.
Because if I was to do thug shit like every other dude from Queens did, we're just going to be behind Mobb Deep. Because everybody always said Mobb Deep was iller. Nas was iller. So you got a lot of these dudes that were good, but they didn't stand out.
Right.
Notice Necro in 2022, I'm the king of death rap.
Right.
I got my own shit. Nobody can challenge it.
Right. So how do you look at like yourself in comparison to all like the hardcore artists from the past? Because one thing when I think
give me an example.
Okay, when I think of your career trajectory, I kind of feel like in some ways you could have had the same thing that happened to ICP. ICP got canceled for being offensive, and granted they had the viral marketing gimmick of wearing the makeup and everything, but it feels like. And I always
interesting that you mention ICP.
I always wonder if
I have
ICP
a big history with them.
I wonder if the label was in on that. If the label like sort of strategically was like, we're going to get it pulled from shelves because it's going to be on the news. Because I want to.
You want to talk ICP with me?
Sure, yeah.
Okay, ICP. Okay, first of all, shout out to Violin J and his brother.
Shout out.
Jump Steady.
Yeah.
If I messed up anything, my bad.
Okay.
They're cool dudes.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like I haven't always saw eye to eye with the Juggalo community.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Like on certain things, because ICP are like headlining of everything.
Right.
And in my world, Necro's a headliner.
Yeah.
So it clashes. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
But they're cool dudes. But now we're going to talk reality.
Right.
Okay. In New York City, nobody was listening to ICP. It was not respected.
Seems fair.
It would be considered as whack hip hop.
Right.
In the Midwest, that's where they blew up. Okay. So when I was coming up, nobody was listening to that. I've even spoken with Violent J on the phone, and he admits, yeah, Necro, I know you're that lyrical shit, and I'm whatever.
Their biggest fan base was in the flyover states. Let's be real.
Okay, and you got to understand one thing about ICP, okay? that's way different than Necro. ICP says that they're the most underground band ever, blah, blah. They had an MTV hit, My Homies, which got played regular rotation on MTV. You're not underground anymore if MTV plays you with regular rotation.
But I mean,
in my opinion,
listen, we could probably used to play like random Cannibal Corpse videos twice a week and
that
shit
was
like that, right?
Ball. No, but ICP, My Homies was getting regular rotation with
But don't you think them getting canceled by Disney was the thing that actually made them part of the public consciousness?
No, they had fans at that point. They were building their shit.
I just think they got so much bigger from that.
I don't know.
Yeah, okay.
I can't speak on that. You know,
ultimate marketing.
All I can say is they were always underground doing their thing, but they eventually got a deal. I think it was on Def American or something, and they had a video out, and it blew them up way bigger.
Yeah.
Okay, I've never had anything like that.
Having that moment of the labels
that got
and
a lot
the
of
media pumping you up.
Yeah.
A lot of artists still have a career 20 years later, and it's really just because they had like 6 months of the label trying to like really put them in front of the mainstream.
Okay, and I never had that.
Yeah.
So I've never been privileged enough. I always wanted that.
Yeah.
And here's a crazy thing about that world. All those dudes that got a major deal at one point all think they're iller and better than a Necro. There's a huge ego. Even if you listen to early rap in the 90s, it was thrown into lines because you can't get a deal. Because I'm doper than you because I got a deal. Getting a deal was the ultimate conquest of that you're legit now.
Because there was almost no way to make it without that.
Right.
You are the rare exception.
So if you're a guy who blew up in 93 on Tommy Boy, you look at Necros, you aren't good enough to get a deal.
Right.
But if you look at their Spotify this month, they might have 250,000 monthly listeners off a song that's really being just put on a 90s playlist, where my 500,000 is real fans that are buying merch this week that will buy tickets to a show. Where that artist, if they do a show now, they got to go on like a 90s fucking festival with 50 fucking people. It's different, man. They didn't build up independent fucking business.
Right.
I learned from Master P. Master P was my biggest influence. When I saw I was not going to get a record deal and they were going to be all about Eminem and all that in 97, 98, I seen Master P talking in interviews, and he was breaking down how to do it out of the trunk in a way that Suge wasn't, in a way that Puffy wasn't, and in a way that even Baby Williams wasn't. Master P would literally have paragraphs of saying you could press the CD up for $1 and sell it for $8 and get the distributor. And that was blowing my mind away.
Right.
Fuck, okay. These motherfuckers are going to not give me a deal? Okay, then I'm going to I'll make 50 G's real quick.
Right.
You know, and I ended up grossing $1 million out of my apartment in 2004.
Yeah.
But you know what's fucked up about grossing $1 million? It cost me $900,000 to make it.
Oh, yeah.
Because back then, for every 10,000 I made, I had to spend 9 G's on either videos or stickers or sample CDs or co-op advertising or sales fucking guy. Always some scumbag coming to take the fucking money away.
Right.
And so I gross $1 million right out of my fucking crib, claustrophobic, CDs everywhere, you can't even move. But it costed me $900,000, and I got burnt out.
Yeah.
You know, so it's, listen, man, it's all part of the game. In the end of the day, everyone's got a path.
Right.
You can't cry about what someone did or whatever. Listen, this is why I say Spotify is relevant. Forget about worrying about these trap fuckheads.
Right.
Worry about the people that you might respect and look at their Spotifys.
Right.
What that means is if nobody's checking for them, they don't have fans currently.
Right.
So if a human being sits today, what am I going to listen to on Spotify today? Let me listen to, old native tongue shit. Then that's what they're going to look up.
Right.
And that's why if you look up Tribe Called Quest, I bet they're 3 million or whatever now.
Okay.
They're going to look up Necro. Bada, you saw what I have.
Right.
Some artists, they're not popping right now. That means they're not relevant in 2022. They're just, whatever they fucking had popping, it ain't relevant no more, bro.
Right.
And you want to know why? Because they're fucking lazy, probably.
Yeah.
They don't put in work.
Yeah. You still put in work.
Bro, I got to fucking, do you know how whack social media is? Every 24 hours, it deads what you posted the day before.
This is true.
So you got to keep fucking posting.
Yeah.
And here's another thing. If you post, I posted up, I'll give you an example. Right now I'm shadow banned on Instagram because I posted up a fight with Mexican chicks at my LA show and they were banging the fuck out. And I thought it was a cool thing to clip to post up.
Right.
Because of that, my reels can't monetize. Like, they're bastards, bro. Instagram, Facebook, Yo, they're fucked up. Yo.
Think about how
they shit on musicians.
Like back in the day, if I saw two chicks fighting in the show, I would have filmed it and put it on my story. And now I'm terrified, and I wouldn't do it. So I'm just, it would immediately pop in my head. I don't want to get my Instagram. So
you're right. Listen,
the other day I was filming with my homie. He's pouring lean up, whatever.
Yeah.
I don't really drink lean like that, but
of course.
I think it looks cool. I'm a hip hop participant. I realize it's part of the culture. I immediately, as soon as I see him doing that, jerk the camera away. I don't want to show that on camera because I'm not trying to get my fucking story removed.
Do you like?
Normally, this is like...
Do you sip lean?
Once in a blue. But this is just what's going on.
Lean right now will be a problem on Instagram?
Yeah.
How do they know? How the fuck do they know what lean is?
Even YouTube. I fucking...
You think someone's reporting?
For sure.
Okay, so think about how crazy that is. That the drink could just be in a cup.
Yeah.
And
but he's pouring it out of the pharmaceutical bottle into the soda.
Okay.
Yeah. It's a little bit more obvious, Hey, this is not the most interesting thing that we could discuss towards the end of this interview, but I just want to ask this because I want to put a bow on a conversation I prior had on this. And it's the reason why we started talking again that led to us being here right now is the fact that I had Nems on, and he's a big representative of New York right now and everything. And part of his story is that early on, you took him in and had him on tour with him and everything. Can we talk about this time period in your life?
Sure.
Yeah.
So basically, in like 2004, I would probably say Psychological Records, which I call PLR, my company, my record label, was the hottest in the underground.
Okay.
I had released that year Mr. Hyde's album, Ill Bill solo album, Gore-Tex, Sabak, Circle of Tyrants, the Sexorcist album.
Right.
I dropped like 10 albums in 12 months. The underground went nuts. And I had marketing behind it. I was in Tower Records fucking light boxes. I was in magazine XXL. I had a deal with Selecta Hits. Selecta Hits are the guys that originally signed, it was the son of Sam Phillips who signed Elvis. They're in Memphis, Tennessee. They're a distro company. I did a fucking $1 million deal with them. They would put 500,000 up to match my 500,000.
Okay.
So I would make every album and blah, blah, blah. Okay. That's the year that I grossed $1 million and whatever and all that.
Right.
After that didn't really go the way I wanted it to go in 2004, came 2006. I did a lot of touring. 2007, I did a lot of touring. I said around 2008, I want to rebuild up my roster. I was still trying to, be like a Wu-Tang or a Cash Money or, you know what I mean? Like, or Master P. Figuring if I drop, 10 albums, everyone makes money. The whole crew's loving it. I'm making money. It's fucking win-win. Like, I'm down to help people. And remember, I'm also a producer.
Right.
So I can make banging beats. So I'm like, I'll produce people. So during like that time frame, I had one of the dopest message boards in underground hip hop.
Wow.
The Necro Hip Hop Forum. It was called the Go Fuck Yourself Forum, and anyone can post on it.
I can't believe I never ended up on there.
There was only two people on the forum. There was only two people in the underground that had forums.
Right.
This jerk off who did undergroundhiphop.com.
Okay.
And that was like very big to almost everybody.
Yeah.
And mine was more niche with anybody, could have been juggalos, horrorcore, any rappers or whatever.
I miss the message boards.
And it was on mine. It was
Good
the Necro
days.
Hip Hop message board. Yeah. And this was the main forum, the Go Fuck Yourself forum.
Right.
On this message board, I would feature gore, porn. Nobody was doing this. Mm-hmm. This goes back to 1999. I'm one of the first guys on the internet, rappers that had a message board, and I was using it to market myself because I saw it could connect me with people.
Yeah.
And so it was awesome. A new song drops, you put it up, you get 100 people commenting. You know what I'm saying? It was before Facebook.
It's like the most hardcore version of that too, though, because those are your real fans. That the internet's so new that they're gonna fuck with whatever the fuck you put out there. That's like your real fans.
It was amazing.
It's not like Facebook where you feel lucky to hit 5% of them.
I felt good connecting. I also felt good connecting, with Facebook too. Social media before they started censoring everything with this COVID shit. It was a good thing at one point, Facebook and all that. So I was trying to build a roster at that point. There was a dude on my message board named Nems Murderfest.
Right.
I'm assuming it was him.
Yeah.
He said he hadn't heard of my shit yet, but he heard of I Need Drugs. Everyone in Brooklyn knew me.
Yeah.
I Need Drugs was fucking popular. Not only that, I had give out 100 samplers to everybody in Brooklyn. I would drive to every hood and see every kid and give them and let them sell for me. I had kids selling my CDs. I Need Drugs CDs like drugs. So I would give you 20. You would pay me back 13 and you could keep 8. So I would make, let's say, $6, let's say, or $5 a CD. Something like that. You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
Makes sense, yeah.
Yeah.
They're like the distributor, yeah.
And I had mad kids doing it. And I would, you know what I'm saying? So everybody knew who the fuck I was. So there's no not knowing me.
Okay.
You knew who the fuck Necro was.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? That's a fact.
Okay.
But anyway, long story short, on the message board, there was Nems Murder Fest. That's how I saw his shit. You know what I'm saying? It was, you know, it had to have been him. Who the fuck was it?
Right.
Nobody knew him at the time. So on the message board, posted up the video where he sampled that Verve sample. I saw it. You know, I was like, oh, this dude is Irish, Puerto Rican. Interesting. He's from the area. Let me message him.
Right.
I checked the temperature, pause, like, you know, to see if he was cool. Like, what up? What are you doing? Because my whole thing was I wasn't trying to get played. So I'm like, what are you doing now? You got anything popping? Not really. Nothing? You're not down with any label? Nothing? You know, like, no, there's no interest? Maybe he told me he had fucked things up with Riggs Morales and all that stuff. I don't know if he got that deep.
Right.
And I don't know if it was off my space, which he said. Maybe, maybe not. But that's how I first got wind of him on my message board.
Okay.
You know, and then we put him down. You know what I mean? And then a lot of what he said is true. I took him with me to Cali.
Yeah.
When I went to Cali, just so you understand the big shit I did at that time, I pressed up 100,000 samplers. On the sampler, it was Necro, Mr. Hyde, Nems, and other artists. And we went into the street. I'm talking walking through Hollywood Boulevard everywhere. Anyone that looked hip hop, hit him with a sampler. Okay? Then did shows. I have a show, if it's on my Vimeo, with Nems on stage with me and Asa Akira getting fucking naked. Huge fan of mine.
Wow.
Fuck her though, because she don't show no love anymore. But at the time, she was on the dick.
She never hits me up either. I'm trying to interview her. She didn't DM me back, so I'm with you on that.
Yeah, she's mad shady.
Not fuck her, but
you know what it is though? At the time, Joey Silvera, the porn star, was a good friend of mine.
Okay.
And he let me shoot at his house. So he would, all the girls that were Necro fans at the time, because of my track, Who's Your Daddy?
Right.
You ever heard Who's Your Daddy?
I think so, yeah.
Necro, the sex assist, the porn king, show me the breast assist, I'm the best there is.
Yeah.
The foul shit, bounce with me, degrading, depraving, debauchery. You're naked on the couch with me. Bitch getting fucked in your ass through your fishnets, cutting queefs. You're bound to eat shit next. That was one of the biggest things with
You're a
porn
fucked up
bitches.
dude. When you put it like that. When you say it without a beat, it's like, damn, what a weird, what a
Well, because
guy.
I know people are watching now and they're going to have no clue who I am, so I'm going to give a little context.
Yeah.
Anyway, she's at that show with Nems, you know, on stage. Just to give you a little context, you know, Joey Silvera was at the show. So we tore through Cali.
Ron Jeremy.
I did the Who's Your Daddy video with Ron Jeremy in the video, Max Hardcore,
Wow.
Eric Everhard.
A lot of legends there.
Oh, mad legends. It was crazy. And here's the thing. The video, Who's Your Daddy video, obviously was too foul for YouTube. So I'm the first dude to get millions, 3 to 4 million on Worldstar Hip Hop before Lil Wayne blew up.
Really?
So yeah, there was a point where you would go to Worldstar and type in search, and my video had 4 million views. So that was at a time where the dude Q, who passed, he was kind of being cool with me. And then when fucking Lil Wayne blew up, remember there was the time where Lil Wayne catapulted crazy? So now every video of his constantly, then Worldstar became mad shady, showed me no fucking love.
Really?
Yeah, but 2 of my videos had like 3 to 4 million each. Because remember, YouTube won't play that kind of content.
Yeah.
They'll take it right down. So, you know, I went through a lot of phases with a lot of these fuckheads. And what happens is they all front on you in the end.
Right.
Here's the way people are. They'll front on you until someone else bigger comes around, they suck their dick and shit on you. And so a guy like me, you know, because I didn't blow up Eminem level, I just got to keep my shit going. I'm longevity.
But okay, with the Nems thing, how long was it good for? And was the
He said 6 months, but the reality, Hyde, wasn't Nems down for like a year and a half at least?
We did a lot of shows, yeah.
Definitely was no 6 months.
right?
He's down for like a year and a half.
Was the drug thing a huge problem from the beginning?
No,
He makes it sound like he was living the real life version of I need drugs.
he was. There was times where he would be nodding out literally noon
Right.
in the day in the van as we're about to leave, and I'd be like, yo, wake up. You know what I'm saying? But at the same time, I'm not going to mention this dude's name. I smacked one of the dudes on the tour for offering them drugs.
Really?
Yeah, I won't mention his name because I'm not trying to be a dick about it, but
I mean, if you're sober, it's got to be tough to be around somebody who's getting that fucked up,
we're
right?
getting ready to go to the hotel.
Yeah.
I'm trying to help Nems get clean. I want to see he's on the label.
Right.
I put money up.
Yeah.
I put him on the cover with us on Hip Hop Connection, the biggest UK magazine.
Right.
Hip Hop Connection had me, Hyde, Nems, and the other guys. And this one dude offers Nems drugs at the hotel, and I hear it in the car.
Right.
I pull the car over. I slap this dude for the 7-Eleven. I'm like, yo, B, you fucking crazy?
Yeah.
But I'm not going to mention the guy's name because I don't want to diss him.
Right.
So people won't know who it is.
Okay.
But he had to get slapped for that because you disrespect him, bro. The guy is fucking addicted, man. You don't offer him nothing, man.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? And you respect me because I put money up and we're out here. We're here to do shit. I'm not out here for you to fucking do drugs with motherfuckers. I'm trying to blow up the record label, bro.
Right.
But, you know, pardon that guy because he was young. He didn't know better, you know, young and fucking dumb. But basically, me parting ways with Nems wasn't just because of the drug shit. There was points where Nems literally called me up 3 times a week to come get money from me.
Really?
Yeah, I was giving him money.
Well, that's because of the drug shit, probably.
I'm just saying.
Yeah.
There'd be times where, yo, Necro, can I slide by and get like 200-300, put it on the tab? I didn't want to do it, but you're part of the label. You know, I'll be like, bro, you're not using it for whatever. Nah, I need it for food or whatever. So I'm like, yeah, you part of the label, whatever. Long story short, what really, really, really happened was I had a fucking deal with Koch. Do you remember Koch?
The good old days of everybody on Dipset was signed to Koch.
Right around that time.
It's like putting your project out through like Empire now.
Okay, so I had a deal with Koch for Death Rap, and that dropped in 2007.
Yeah.
And I was still in contract with them, but without the manager. And I go down to Koch, and I want to do a new deal to amend my contract. And I sit with the executives, and I say, I'm going to release these guys, Nems being one of them, part of, you know, of my roster. And I'm going to put up 50 G's. That's going to cover the albums and sample CDs and all the shit I just did, you know, that I've been doing, you know, or I think I had started to do it a little bit. And you match me with 50,000 in marketing and together, you know, and so it was like 100,000 for each of these guys I was going to make for them. This is like 2008. These guys didn't have a pot to piss in. Not one of these guys had money.
Okay.
And they didn't know how to hustle like me. They were watching me and learning.
Right.
Koch scumbags went back on everything they agreed with me. The executives were foulness. Yeah, totally no honor. How did I fuck up? Because I already had a deal with them, and so we were going to amend it, and I trusted them. And because you know how everything's slow in the business, I was hot to get shit popping, and I had all these tours going. So I put all that money up when I told you on the cover of the magazines, the fucking tours, little videos, the promotions, the sampler CDs. I put all this money up. Koch didn't match what I put up. Fuck me. So I had to go back to these guys and be like, yo, I can't really do what I said I was going to do because Koch just fucked me up. You got a choice. You could stick with me if you want, but you might have to wait a year or two or whatever. Or, you know, go your own way. And, you know, I wanted most of them to pay me back and recoup what I put in. You know, I would say 50% of them paid me back.
Really?
I ain't going to get into who didn't because then, you know, it's just going to make me call that person a douchebag.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But whatever the case was, some of them paid me back. Some of them I took it as like, you know something? Like in Bronx Tale? You know, when it's like you paid to just get someone out of your life?
Yeah.
It was like that. Like, okay, you know, I'd say go your way. I go my way. You could never say nothing bad about me because you know I genuinely helped you.
Right.
So Nems knows. Okay, so number one, shout out to Nems.
Right.
Because I didn't do that.
So no hard feelings or what? A little bit of hard feelings?
It's 2022 right now. You know what I'm saying? Nah. You know what I'm saying? I mean, listen, look at it like this. You know, shout out to anyone that's successful that does their hustle. If you put in the grind, you're going to get it. You know, just like I got it. I had it years ago. I still have it right now. I'm living off my shit. I ain't worked for anybody in 20 years. I own everything you've seen on that Spotify, every master. I get paid off of it all. Okay, and my numbers are bigger than all the people that I help.
Because almost every rapper, at the very least, has a chapter in their career where they were getting fucked or where they don't own their projects, whatever.
They're still in the red. Oh,
it's so weird to know that you own all of it.
Oh, most of these dudes are fucking. They'll never get their shit back from Cold Chillin' or Tommy Boy. Fucking De La Soul had a whole nightmare with those guys.
Think about being Nas, and everybody wants to do shit. They want to do a pop-up. They want to do a merch line that promotes Illmatic. He's like, I'm making money off my new shit. I don't make any money off of the Illmatic. Like,
want to get something crazy about Illmatic?
Yeah.
So when I did the Godfather's album, Kool G Rap, right? I go to Nas one day and I'm checking, and it's not the official Illmatic listing of the album. It's a playlist on his Spotify made by somebody who had access to his Spotify. You can't have access to the Spotify unless you're part of the label or you're Nas. It's going to be either, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
Me or you couldn't do it.
Right.
Okay. And it's an Illmatic playlist. And on the last song of Illmatic is the song with me and G Rap, The City. Somebody down with Nas put my Godfather's song on the Illmatic Nas playlist, and it's still been there for the last 10 fucking years.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
You're probably getting a shitload of plays on that for no reason.
For no reason? Well, obviously for a reason, but here's the cool thing. You mentioned Illmatic. The person, some fan out there was working for Nas or the label and looked out and was like, yo, this Godfather shit is fire. Let me throw this shit up on there.
Or maybe like once in a while I'll be going to like save a video to watch it later and I'll accidentally save it to like my interviews tab. So it'll be on the homepage of No Jumper for like a couple hours. Like
who knows?
Maybe he didn't realize he was logged in as Nas. He's like, I want to put this on my playlist.
Imagine.
Accidentally adds it to the Illmatic playlist. I mean, that's fucking crazy.
Well, here's the thing. I'm going to assume, because of Nas's level,
Yeah.
he probably didn't create the Nas playlist. That was probably someone at the label that thought it was a good idea.
Right.
Because I don't do that anymore.
Right.
There was a time I made like an I Need Drugs playlist. But people stream the I Need Drugs album. They don't go to the playlist. So that was probably something right when Spotify was popping that people thought might get it more popping.
Right.
So it's a label thing. Someone at the label was fucking with our shit.
Right.
In a good way.
Were you surprised when Nems went viral recently for the Bing Bong shit and all that?
Surprised?
Yeah.
I mean, listen.
You believed him in a long time ago. Apparently you got a pretty good eye for talent.
Listen, you got to understand, it took Nems years, bro.
Right.
This guy's putting shit out since 2005. You're talking almost 20 years of grinding to get to this level.
Yeah.
You're supposed to get to a certain level like this. Listen, I might not be popping like that right now, viral on that level, but you look at my numbers, though. My Spotify numbers, my listenership around the planet is 10 times bigger than Nems' numbers now.
Okay.
But Nems will appear to be more viral than me on Instagram. It's different things. For instance, there's some people that are going to pop on Instagram because of shit that they're doing. Like he blew up with the Side Talk and those guys and that shit. I do comedy. I got a comedy channel, but my shit ain't blowing up like that. But that's could happen or not. It's weird. Going viral can happen. But the point I'm trying to say is Nems has been doing what he's been doing.
Right.
It just happened he lucked out like that. For instance, let's say right now, 50 Cent took a liking to Necro.
Right.
I would blow up amazingly huge because of all the work I put in. All the shit I did, and then now I'm with 50 and we're punching people in the face together.
Right.
Mad people would be like, oh, I knew he was dope.
G-Unit.
Listen, I slept on Necro. 50 says he's dope. You understand?
Yeah.
So you got to understand, when somebody blows up in a commercial state, it now brings that energy on that. You know what I'm saying? But for me, bro, I told you, bro. Nems told you. He was with me on tour. I had porn stars at my shows.
Yeah.
This is 10 years ago. So everyone, listen, not everyone gets a point where they could get to my level. Not everybody gets to a point where they could get to his level. And some people will never, ever. Here's the funny thing. Don't compare yourself to Eminem, because 99% of rappers will never be as big as Eminem or Drake.
Right.
You got to really, the glass is half full.
Yeah.
Look at the glass and say, okay, it's not half empty because I'm not him and I'm not that level. Look at it like where you're at. Well, bro, I have not worked for anybody for 20 years. I live off my shit. Money comes in. I just fucking got just a random shit, bro. I got 10. I'm not bragging, but people should hear it because it can inspire them. I got over 10 multiple streams of income.
Right.
I get paid off digital. I get paid off physical. I get paid off merch. I get paid off shows. I get paid off collabos. I get paid off ASCAP. I get paid off fucking neighboring rights. I get paid off fucking, what's the sound scan, sound, where they check. Sound exchange.
Right, yeah.
I get paid. I just fucking got paid for a licensing sync in a song from 20 years ago off I Need Drugs. They put the instrumental in a Van skateboard video.
Wow.
Last month I got 2 placements. Now, does it mean I'm fucking Rockefeller?
Right.
No. My mother got fucking bills. I pay my mother's bills. You know what I'm saying? Not every single one of them, but a lot of them.
But owning 100% of this is a lot better for most people than having had, a label situation at a certain point that turned to shit, and then you don't really own even your original content.
It comes down to also laziness.
Yeah.
Remember, those guys all could have decided I'm going to do my shit. Everybody could have went and bought the books that I bought. I bought the Donald Passman, Everything You Need to Know About the Music Business. I read every master. Bro, there was a point, just to show you how sick I am, that, in the family, my brother or whatever, we had every Vibe magazine, Source, XXL.
King.
King, whatever the fuck. Well, of course, King for that.
Yeah.
Which we didn't talk much about.
Yeah.
Which we didn't talk much about. But basically,
somehow.
Next
episode all about Necro jerking off.
I studied.
You got to take a Viagra before we start.
I take Viagra sometimes.
That's going to be in the next interview. Okay.
You know what I'm saying? But just because fucking, why not?
No more, don't tell me anymore. We need this for the next interview.
Okay.
All right.
All the porn stars do it.
Yeah. No, I hear you.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But basically, I would like get all the magazines from Vibe and everything and read the key hustlers, the guys that, and study. And Master P, I said he used to give a lot of information. So what was to stop dudes from 97 who had a deal in 93, 94, 95 for them to say, I'm going to create a new record label without the white investor? And I just throw that in there because I want to make a point, because I don't like the fact that people think that if you're the investor, you're automatically a devil.
Oh, yeah.
How about give respect to this guy who put 100,000 into you? You were on the corner. Nobody was fucking with you. He actually believed in you. Now, listen, of course.
And if you didn't want to be holding to him, you shouldn't have signed the fucking deal, right?
And also, listen, sometimes people get robbed.
Yeah.
But I never really heard about, what's his name? Who's the dude that runs Loud? Steve Rifkin.
Right, yeah.
Never heard Steve Rifkin fucking over Mobb Deep or Wu-Tang or Big Pun. You understand what I'm saying? Sure, there's always people. Listen, I heard tons of shit about Baby fucking people over.
Right.
Tons of shit about Puffy fucking people over. Notice people don't get too deep in the Puffy shit, but they run to bring up Leo Code immediately. I don't like shit like that. Why do I mention that? Oh, because if too many people didn't focus on blaming other people, take responsibility for your career. You have arms and legs and a brain. You're obviously intelligent. You wrote super intelligent raps.
Yeah.
Right? You can't be a rapper in the 90s lyrical if you're a dumb guy.
Right.
Okay? You just fucking bro, laziness is a serious shit.
Yeah.
Pun said it on a song. I don't remember the line. He'll know it. What's the line? He goes, you want to sit on your ass, lazy? He says something, but Pun says it, how so many people, everybody wants to fucking be big, but you're really a lazy fuck on your ass.
Yeah.
Get off your butt, start an independent record label, put the shit out, upload it, market it, make sure it's good. Because here's the difference. If your shit ain't that good, it ain't streaming, buddy.
When I first got in the game at like 2016, 2017, all the dudes I knew were like excitedly signing publishing deals. And they're like, I'm getting 50K, I'm getting 100K because I'm signing this publishing deal. And I'm sitting there as a bit older person thinking, so you don't believe in yourself? So you think that
Cameron talked about that on
you think that shit's just worth 50K? Like
Cameron talked about that.
I'm betting on myself. Like I don't want to fucking sell my publishing or whatever the fuck it is at this point. I believe in myself.
Well, check this out. Cameron was talking about it on Wallow and
okay.
And
I didn't get to the end of it. He talks about that at the end.
He mentions that he knew it was a shitty deal.
Right. Oh, he was just so hyped to get in the game. I remember that part. Yeah.
No, because he wanted to be able to go uptown with a car.
Right. Yeah.
Some people know they're fucking up and they do it.
Yeah.
But you want to know something? Obviously, he probably landed on his feet. He's paid. He's not a broke guy. We all make mistakes. I made mistakes. I'm sure you did. The question is, can we surpass all our mistakes and be in 2022 popping? Can you say right now, and you tell me, are you the biggest you've ever been right now as you sit here?
Yeah.
I'm the biggest I've ever been.
Nice.
People can front on me all they want. Like if they don't know me, who that? Fuck, you can say what the fuck you want. I don't give a fuck. My numbers don't fucking lie. You understand what I'm saying? Like the Spotify numbers, here's why Spotify numbers are the shit. It's the #1 streaming platform on the planet. So if you're going to come up with a fucking excuse and say, my shit ain't popping on there because I'm popping in the streets. Yeah, okay. Well, people in the streets don't pay you, bro.
Your Spotify numbers encompass all of the like Brazilian axe murderers that are sitting around listening to
Turkey,
Necro.
Guys from Turkey making falafel.
Have you ever actually committed necrophilia?
Nah. funny
with
reason.
The name, you know?
Damn, I look like a slob on here, but that's okay. Hopefully my personality makes up for the slob look. Hey, listen, I'll still fuck you, ladies.
That's real.
But basically, part of why I changed my name from necrophilia, I got necrophiliac from the Hello Wait Slayer album.
Until what?
And girls would come up to me and be like, do you fuck dead body?
What year did you get rid of that?
93. Bobito, I think from Bobito and Stretch started calling me Necro.
Necrophiliac was your rap name?
Yeah.
Oh my.
And Bobito's calling me Necro for short.
Yeah.
And I took it. So maybe shout out to Bobito and Stretch. Maybe I don't know. Maybe Bobito gets credit for shortening my name. But
I think he did.
I thought it was better. Well, I thought it was better because Necro was the prefix to anything relating to death, and I wasn't really down with the fuck dead body shit because people weren't. I didn't want to be done with anything that you didn't respect.
Yeah.
But I was not trying to be a trendy person.
And the internet is,
I'm in between not being trendy. You know what I'm saying? But still, I don't totally want to be hated.
In the internet age, it's like people might just be like, oh, well, clearly he's not a necrophiliac since he's like a rapper and he seems like he's pretty successful at everything. But back then, people were kind of going for whatever. It was a lot easier to fool people.
I mean, you know something? It's possible. In the end of the day, I told you, I burnt a lot of bridges just being me. My name, the subject matter. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I was putting out subject matter that, you know, maybe some people, a lot of women thought I was misogynistic. I couldn't get publicists to represent me that were representing some of these other guys in the underground because their music's mad tame. Most everybody in the underground of New York hip hop was tame, politically correct. Then you got Necro, the most morbid, overdose off it, like Cindy Crawford's Baby Comatose in a Coffin. I'm awful, often unlawful, crack you with a softball in your skull till you lost all memory, every morsel, mutilate the beat, rejuvenate the street, leave you bloody, lubricated meat. I got a gun to pull, and I'm comfortable pumping a full clip into the wonderful front of your skull. Different kind of vibe right there. That's the kind of shit that is on the energy of New York hardcore and metal and moshing and punch someone dead in the face you got beef with. Oh, I got beef with that dude? Let's listen to some Necro shit.
Let's go.
And I mean, you know, being white, remember, I'm in the projects. I'm being judged. You know what I mean? First day, me and my brother moved into Glenwood. Like 15 Decepticons rushed us and ripped all our comics up.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying?
Ripped all our comics up.
Yeah, imagine
That's
you're like
one that rappers are going to say these days. That's amazing.
Well, imagine you're I'm 5, Bill's 9. We just come from the comic store, which is a block away from the fucking projects. We just moved in. We're not really sure what we're getting into here, what we're about to deal with. You know?
You leave those projects now, it's going to be a fucking hike before you find a comic book store. That's all I'm saying.
Well, of course. Now,
yeah,
you know,
it's a sad state of affairs, man. My hometown, Nashua, New Hampshire, we had 2 comic book stores.
Is that where you're from, New Hampshire?
Yeah,
okay.
sad story.
New Hampshire.
Yeah.
Do you love it? Is you
New
proud
Hampshire.
of it? Are you proud of it?
Ex-hamster. Proud would probably not be the word I would go with. Yeah, it's pretty whatever ass place. But hey.
But what made you move to California? You ended up like
I had to live. No, I moved to Astoria when I was like 21.
Queens?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And I lived in Astoria and Bushwick for like 7 years, from like 2004 to like 2010, and then I moved to LA.
I always heard, or I think, that you were somehow involved in the New York hardcore scene. Or?
I used to go to shows in Boston a lot, and I was honestly kind of out of it by the time I was like 21, 22. But I still have friends and bands, and we go to shows sometimes. So
it's an experience.
I love it. Yeah,
you had it.
I love it, but
Part
it's the kind
DNA.
of thing I want to do like every year,
right?
Maybe every 2 years. You know.
My whole thing, I'm like a shy introvert, so I was never really the guy in the show.
Yeah.
It got to the point where I needed to be the guy controlling the show.
Right.
The guy on stage.
Yeah. And I've seen a million hardcore dudes go from that, where they're the guy who likes to go to shows every weekend, and then they become the alpha male running the shit, and they can never imagine just hanging out again.
You know, it's because you know, it depends what you want.
Yeah.
Some people are just all about the shows and moshing and all that, and for me, you know, I always wanted to be on stage, but I was always nervous. But as a metal shit, I was mad nervous. When I became hip hop, it became different. It became more like, I'm going to fuck you up if you disrespect me when I'm on stage.
Yeah.
With the metal, it was kind of different. I didn't
like, we're all going to fuck each other up in this mosh pit.
No, I didn't feel the power. I didn't feel strong enough. Even if I was getting into beef in the projects, I wasn't a man yet. As I got older, like, you know, you become a true thug if you're a thug by 15. Anyone who becomes, this is a problem with a lot of these new kids too. If you become a thug after 18, you're not a real thug. You can't become a thug after 18. You have to somehow live that lifestyle in your 13, 14, 15, 16, or like me, fighting kids when you were 6, 7, 8, to be that kind of personality, for it to be a legit, or else you're a tryhard, and you're probably going to end up getting killed because you don't understand. You know, and a lot of these guys becoming thugs after 18 now, like they probably weren't the first 18 years.
Rest in peace to LA legend Draco the Ruler, who said in a song, "How you join a gang when you're 25?" Let me tell you, a lot of people in the city caught feelings over that. A lot of people, it applied to a lot of people. It's like, I'm 23. Was that for me?
I mean, but you want to know something? You know, there's a difference between being a gang member and a thug. Not every thug is a gang member. You could be a thug and be a loner.
Right.
And still get busy and do your thing.
And rob liquor stores and beat the shit out of people, whatever it is. Yeah.
Being a thug doesn't mean you're robbing people.
But you could be a thug and have no communication with other thugs. Or you could join a gang and join a big fucking syndicate.
You know what I told people? Okay. everyone who says they're gangster and all that.
Yeah.
I'm not gangster.
No.
I'm gangster-like. What does gangster-like mean? I'm similar
Right.
to the real gangsters, to the Bugsy Siegels, the Meyer Lanskys, the Lucky, in their attitude.
Right.
They're not taking shit. You're not going to fuck them over.
Right.
You're not going to talk condescending to them. Does that mean that I'm fucking involved in bootlegging of liquor and running Vegas and murdering 800 people?
Trafficking
No.
guns,
So are you
yeah.
really a gangster? If you're murdering people, fine, then you can be a gangster.
Right.
But if you're just a tough dude, like you're gangster-like, you have the traits.
You're gangster. You just haven't bitten off all that you potentially could if you didn't care about your freedom more.
Right, but like you said with a thug, right? Okay, you don't have to do a robbery to be a thug. Thugging could be I dress thugged out.
Right.
I talk slang. I fucking, I could adapt in the street. I can.
It's levels.
There's levels. And here's the funny thing: the worse you are, usually the realer you are, the more dead you get early. Notice that the dudes who the pinnacle realest dudes,
Oh, yeah.
are all dead. The real 50 Cent,
Yeah.
like all these guys, they went out early.
See it all the time.
And it's sad, but listen, that's why they're the true legends. You know what I mean? Me, if I'm a legend or I'm gonna be, I'd let it be for the hip hop, for the music.
And let's die of old age.
And I think that, and listen, knock on fist. And that's what's gonna happen if you're smart. If you have a fucking brain and you're intelligent in how you move, you can talk your shit. Okay? But you should realize there's wolves around.
Yeah.
You can be a wolf, but can every wolf beat every other wolf in the pack? Maybe not.
Right.
Can every lion beat every other lion? Maybe not. So at least respect if you're a lion, respect the lions around you. If you're a wolf, respect okay? I think a lot of people, and here's the thing. You could sleep and think that the Jeffrey Dahmer guy's a sheep.
Right.
And the next thing, you got a power drill in your fucking head with phenobarbital and you're walking in the middle of the street. Butt naked, you know what I mean? From
What's
Dahmer's
the number
crib.
one thing that we always hear when there's a serial killer? They interview his neighbors and they say, "I never thought he was such a nice guy. I never thought he would do something like this."
Wait till you see this series and you see how much his neighbor's involved in the whole series.
Really?
Oh my God, bro. She was telling people, calling the police about him because the smell from his apartment went
I
into
bet,
hers
yeah.
through a vent. She was smelling everything, calling up police, telling them, yo. And because of the black
This
neighborhood.
motherfucker's spoiling this shit for me. I gotta watch this myself.
Sorry, brother.
No, that's
Sorry,
good.
brother.
Hey, you gotta promise that we could do this again sometimes. This is an
Sure.
amazing interview. I don't know how the fuck the world has been sleeping on Necro as an interviewee.
I mean, listen, bro, let me ask you a question. How many people, if you put a number, know about you as of this second right now? Just put a number.
How many people?
Yeah, 10 million?
Well, I got 1.6 million on Instagram, although I don't know how much.
Let's just say 10 million.
Yeah. Okay, sure.
So in the world of billions, that means that there's 6 billion, there's 5 billion people that don't know Adam 22 yet.
Oh, yeah.
So there's always going to be people that don't know Necro. So here's the way I view it. A blessing and thank you that you had me here today. Maybe somebody's going to become a fan from it and do it. And the same way you keep growing, right? You're making a new office?
We got a new one.
Right, you have it, but is it done?
Yeah.
Okay, right? And that's a new move for you.
Yeah.
So you could be known by 100 million people.
We're going for it.
Exactly.
Getting
So,
famous is the slow process of realizing you're never going to actually be famous. Like, if you were to go somewhere and like 5% of people knew who you were, that's going to be fucking oppressive. That's insanely
do you
difficult
want to be
to get
famous?
to.
Here's the thing, at this
not
age.
like that. I don't give a fuck. If it comes with all of me doing what I want to do, like if me doing a Necro interview means that 1% more of the people in the room at the show that I go to or whatever are going to know who I am, cool. I can accept that, but I'm not doing it so that I can get asked for photos.
You're enjoying what you're doing. Bottom right. In the end of the day, right? It's like the same thing with me. I'm thinking it's not about fame. It's about just I want people that relate with me. They're gonna go fuck with me. They should fuck with me.
What it's really about is making it so you don't have to go work at FedEx. And shout out to all the FedEx drivers, but
I threatened the FedEx. I say you're gonna think all I talk about is beef. Listen, there was a point where in my house where I was doing the shipping.
Yeah.
Of like merch and shit like that. So around the 2005, 2006 era.
I had ones
and I would have to call UPS and FedEx to come pick shit up.
Right.
And there's always a FedEx guy that's a fucking dick. You know what I mean? He doesn't want to come inside. So I was barefoot.
Yeah.
And this Jamaican FedEx guy, he's giving me a lot of problems, bro. And he's talking that shit. La, 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 fuck you, mother. I'm like, motherfucker, I'll fight you right now barefoot. And he bitched out. Because I went right to the front barefoot. I was like, yo, I'm fucking barefoot. I'll fight you right now, motherfucker. I said, it's your job to come here at 3 p.m. and pick that shit up. And he's like, I'll be back. And I said, be back for what? For beef? And fucking Uncle like, what do you mean? When somebody says they'll be back, I'm checking that. You coming back with a weapon? What? So, but I don't know if he ever came back, but let me tell you something. FedEx sucks. UPS guys are good guys.
I was just using it as an example of a shitty job.
UPS guys
I'm sure
are
it's
good
a
guys.
fine job. I'm sure it's like a pretty good job in the grand scheme of jobs. I don't really know.
Listen, I used to give fucking bonuses to the UPS guys because they were good guys.
Yeah.
And they showed mad love. FedEx guys are always on some fast bullshit, like giving you problems.
Okay.
So, and you know something? FedEx is always the most expensive. If you run a merch store, you know that, like, they're the worst.
Right.
Fucking hate them, bro. They're overcharged. They make people not want to buy your shit.
I'm glad I haven't
Hey,
done my own
FedEx, go
shipping
fuck
in a while.
yourself. FedEx, why don't you go suck a dick?
All right. That's a good note to end on.
Adam don't want me to say that because they might sponsor him.
No, I don't know if is FedEx sponsoring mid-tier podcasters. I don't know. Yeah.
Hey,
Yo.
FedEx, bring us some fucking money, motherfuckers.
He's right. Necro, they're going to kick us out of this fucking studio, but...
Can I do a last mention my shit?
Yeah. Tell them what to check out for sure.
All right, listen, everybody. Thank you to Adam for the interview. Much love,
guy.
respect,
Appreciate you,
brother.
for real.
Appreciate you.
Yeah.
Just basically go to my Spotify because that's my #1 platform. You can check me out on Apple Music. Go to necroproduct.com, buy merchandise. And, you can go to YouTube, Necro Video. Check out all my videos. Pretty much that's it. YouTube, Spotify, Apple Music. And become a fan. And if not, suck my dick. I don't give a shit if you live or die. If you ain't my fan, croak.
That way. You heard him. Look at him. That big, beautiful man there. Talking shit
Big
into the
fat
camera.
cock too, 8 inches, 11 inches for your mount.
Let's go.
Tell your girl to come over.
My man, Necro.
Adam, hook me up with some
My
bitches.
dude. We got to do more of this in the future because this is one of the greatest talents I've ever seen on camera.
Listen, we're
We've
going
been
to talk
talking.
more.
We got some plans. Yeah. All right. Necro. No jumper.
Salute.
Coolest podcast in the world. Check us out on YouTube, TikTok, Patreon, Instagram, etc. Like, comment, and subscribe. NoJumper.com if you want to support. Turn my man up on all streaming services and social media. Bow.